Hey, what's up, Sean? Good
Hello,
job,
everybody,
brother.
and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. This is the Halas Hall Hangover, and we got a packed show for you guys tonight. We're going to chop up a little NCAA National Championship game. We're going to cut right into some strength and conditioning and a few other Bears nuggets. We're going to do some mocks, look at what they're talking about on Mario Hampton, and just move on from there. We'll be right back. Hey, nothing like starting off with a technical glitch.
This is why we do it live, man.
This is why we have fun doing it live.
This is organic. Yeah, just what happens is what happens. These are our flaws and all, man. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Brandon, Dustin, Kyle? How you doing today?
What's going on? At least that other video you were watching, Sean didn't accidentally play.
Yeah, right?
I am good, man. Just had dinner, ready to talk some sports with you guys. Whatever you want to do, I'm with it. And thanks to everybody for joining us. Please like, subscribe, throw them comments in the chat. We'll keep conversating with y'all throughout the show.
Yeah, and I know this is a little bit of a sore spot for Dustin to start the show, but it is what it is. We got NCAA basketball national championship game tonight, and guys, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I actually don't know how to bet this game because I think it's going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out, maybe some overtime in this basketball game tonight. I'm going to stick with Houston because I need Houston to win my bracket, but I've had Florida and I've said Florida since about mid-December. So I guess I'm going to win either way tonight. How do you guys feel about who's going to win? Or Dustin, are you just like, whatever?
I feel like this game would have been a lot better and had a lot more viewership if Duke had won that game that they should have won. I mean, they just dominated that game statistically in every facet and found a way to fucking lose it. It was very disappointing. No, props to Houston for what they did. They did dirty up the game. Duke went away from what they did well, and Houston had a part to play in that as well. But yeah, no, I'm nowhere near as interested in this game tonight as I would have been if Duke was participating in it. But you know, it is what it is. I think it'll be kind of an ugly game tonight too. You're going to see a lot of good defense. I mean, Clayton on Florida, man, that guy's fun to watch. That'll be the funnest thing to watch tonight. If he can do a Steph Curry impression tonight, that'll make it pretty interesting for sure.
What's up, Crooked Commish? What's up, Broski Bear, Lindsay, Breaking News, Bruce? Appreciate you guys joining us.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking in. Yeah, I went the opposite way. I bet Florida because I win my bracket and a boatload of cash if Houston wins. So I bet Florida, and then I bet a bunch of 3-point guys to make 3-point baskets tonight. I usually know what to bet. I had no idea in this game, and neither does Vegas, although 92% of the public bet is on Florida to take down Houston tonight in the national title game. It's on at 7:50, so we'll be wrapping up as that tips off. Breaking news, Bruce has Houston. So really quick on some Bears news. The Bears did today, it's an exciting time in Chicago. It's phase 1 of the offseason program kicked off today at Halas Hall. It's focusing on strength and conditioning. It's a crucial time for the players to get into the building, build their physical foundation for the upcoming season. We're going to put down here, this is what we got coming up as far as the Chicago Bears voluntary and mandatory dates are scrolling at the bottom. We got some awesome photos. Yeah.
Sean, did you see that Nate Davis has chose to not participate in the voluntary OTAs again
this year? Not again. Caleb with a fresh cut checking in the Halas Hall today. Little Tremaine Edmonds walking in. So yeah, this was fun.
Jervon Dexter is looking cut, dude. Jervon Dexter looks like he's in shape for this season. He's ready to go.
I think Caleb put on some weight.
It's to absorb some of those blows. Rome's looking good.
Well,
Rocking-
hopefully not this year, man. Hopefully not.
hopefully not this year. I agree. But he is rocking a nice fresh cut coming in. So that's nice. Not too much to report. It's strength and conditioning, so but
It's Ben
good.
Johnson's first opportunity to get with all these players and establish who he is and what he wants them and needs them to be and how he's going to be a leader for this group. So that there's that. That's a big opportunity. And I don't know if you saw that Chris Williams is coming back.
Yes, I was actually going to touch on that. The Chicago Bears today announced that restricted free agent Chris Williams has officially signed his contract. Following exclusive rights to the free agents of Jonathan Ford, Daniel Hardy, Bill Murray, and Amir Speed. And out of this list, I know you guys really, really like Daniel Hardy.
Love him.
I'm kind of excited about Jonathan Ford. I think he showed a little bit last year. Out of this list, anything that it sparks your guys' excitement?
Well, as much as I ridiculed Chris Williams last year, remember the Bears traded to acquire this player when Zach Pickens went down in the final preseason game. It's good to see that a player that was traded for wasn't just moved on from. So I guess
he performed decently in his opportunities, Brandon. He did. He performed well enough to warrant that.
He performed enough to warrant the 7th round pick that acquired him, for sure. I'll say that, definitely.
Yeah, and worth keeping on as solid depth. Not hopefully not as integral a part of your defensive line as he was last year.
Well, boys, we have another technical glitch as it just popped up that we're not broadcasting on Twitter for some reason. I don't know what has happened. We'll have to investigate that.
We're here on YouTube with all of our YouTube followers, so we're all good. Bill Murray is another guy that intrigues me a lot. I think he's solid depth on your offensive line, and I think that he could potentially grow into a starter in this league based on the limited stuff we saw from him last year. So I don't know about Kyle, but I'm excited that Bill Murray will maintain as a part of this Bears roster, hopefully.
Anybody get you excited about that list, Kyle?
No, I mean, most of these guys, they pretty much announced that they were going to sign these guys, about a month ago now. This is just where they have to break down, actually have to sign a contract. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice to have line depth, guys. You can never have enough line depth. They definitely felt that on defensive line last year. They had multiple injuries on the defensive line last year. They had multiple injuries on the offensive line last year. At some point, you have to start signing depth. These are the guys you hope don't play, but it's nice to see the Bears sure up that depth.
I mean, if these are guys that are not playing as big of roles as they did last year, that's a good thing for this team. If they're those just in case guys.
Doesn't necessarily equate to anything on the field, but Amir Speed is 6'3", almost 220, and he runs a 4.34. This guy's an athletic freak. It's really too bad he hasn't been able to put it together on the field. I mean, he's been around for a while, but if this guy ever finds a way to kind of make this click, dude, he has got the attributes to be a really impactful player. He should probably play some nickel.
Well, as we've talked about, there is some need for some depth in that secondary, so it looks like he will have an opportunity to make the squad. So we're going to get into a mock here in just a little bit, but before we do that, it's been brought to our attention that some of these analysts, especially Mel Kiper from ESPN, think that
your favorite show.
Yeah, my favorite hack. Mel Kiper says that he thinks the Bears could be going at a skill position, and that person that popped up was Mr. Amario Hampton. And I don't know that I like him at 10. I like him in the first round. I think he's got an amazing skill set. I think he fits what the Chicago Bears need as far as a new running back in this backfield. We've also seen a couple of other guys like Shamir Stewart still being picked at 10. Also, Mikael Williams at 10. So, guys, what are your thoughts if the Bears were to take Hampton at number 10? Is this something you guys are excited about? Because we've talked on the show numerous times. We want an impact player at 10 that gets on the field and makes an impact from opening day. Hampton definitely fits that mold. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, Marion Hampton was called a top 20 pick today by Bleacher Report. I don't think it's well out of the realm that a team drafts him close to the 10th overall pick. I think the Bears would have to be kind of strong-armed in order to take him. Obviously, Ashton Genty would no longer be on the board, and they would feel like Dallas at 12 was probably going to select Hampton. So if Ben Johnson were stressing over the running back position, knowing that the Cowboys were going to probably take the second best by analyst measures, the second best off the board, they might feel a little pressure to do so. But as Dustin stated time and time again, you've got guys in the second round that are just as worthy as these two, Ashton Genty and Omari and Hampton.
If I'm choosing between Genty, if it were to be a choice between Genty and Hampton at 10, I'm taking Genty over Hampton.
Yeah.
If I'm picking a running back at 10 in that spot, I'd rather have Judkins over Hampton, to be honest. And I mean, I know a lot of people don't agree with me that Judkins is the best running back in this draft, but I personally think he is. So that's why I have that stance in the first place, Brandon, is that I think you're going to get the best running back in this draft, potentially in the second round. But if you're picking between Hampton and Genty at 10, I'm going to go Genty. And I think Genty or Hampton or Judkins behind this revamped offensive line and in a Ben Johnson offense with all the tools and assets that they have is going to be an impact player right away. To answer your question, Sean, you got a guy that's going to potentially be a 1,200 yard rusher in this offense behind that offensive line. I mean, and a lot of people think that, especially of Genty. And I mean, it's hard to disagree with him when you watch Genty play, man. So I think taking a skill position player would make total sense for the Bears. But as we're going to discuss later, trade back makes a lot more sense and pairing it with that.
Kyle?
Yeah, I certainly would not take Amari Hampton at 10, and that's no disrespect to him in any way, shape, or form. And I know he's going to be a really good player. I just don't think that, first of all, I don't think running back is the biggest position to need if you're talking about staying at 10. If anything, you would trade back or later on draft a running back in the second round. We've talked about these guys like Caleb Johnson. Obviously, Dustin talks a lot about Judkins. I don't think the difference between Hampton and Genty is great enough to select a running back at 10 if you're talking about in comparison to those other guys you can get in the second round. But for me, guys, you know where I stand. If I were the Bears, I would complete this offensive line. I am not cool with the idea of giving Braxton Jones $20 million a year next year. I just don't think he's that type of player, but he's going to get it no matter what because he's a starting left tackle in the NFL. Even if he is an average starting left tackle, he's going to ask for about $20 million a year, and I'm just not comfortable with that. So if I'm the Bears, like I said 1,000 times, I leave no stone unturned. I am finishing this offensive line and going for Banks.
I'm 100% with you, Kyle. I think that's where they need to go. I think that's where they should go, is the left tackle with that 10th pick, if that's where they're staying. But, you know, I don't know that anybody knows what the Bears are doing with that 10th pick right now. They're very buttoned up on this, and they have multiple needs, multiple directions they can go.
Well, and realistically, we're talking about a skill player with the 10th overall pick. Let's say hypothetically that Tyler Warren and Ashton Genty remain when you're selecting a 10. You have Tyler Warren, Ashton Genty, possibly Omarion Hampton, because like I said, you think that the Cowboys are probably going to target that position. Tetero McMillan. Some people have Egbuka pretty high. There's not, in regards to skill players, there's not a whole lot of names floating around that 10th pick. So
it's trenches. It's heavy trenches in the first round.
Yeah.
If you're really looking at it as a skill player, you would probably trade back regardless, right?
Yeah. And I've kind of maintained that I think the Bears are going to trade back. And, you know, for me, Hampton seems like a well-rounded back. He's got impressive size and versatility. You know, he's the
best receiving back in this draft.
I was just going to say he can contribute as a runner and a receiver. You know, he has great potential at the next level. You know, for me, if you trade back, I don't think you'll get him because I do think Dallas would jump up and take him at 12 if you trade back in between 15 and 20. Like I personally said for a couple of weeks, I still think that's where I am, that the Bears are going to do. I think they're going to trade out of here.
Well, Sean, that's easier said than done in this draft, as we've discussed. And that's a really important point to make, because finding a suitor, someone that wants to trade up in this draft, is going to be really hard because you got a lot of depth in this draft all the way through the end of the second, middle of the third. You can get starting players in this draft. So people giving up those picks to move up, that's going to be few and far between. We want that. I want that for the Bears. I don't know that they're going to find that dance partner in this draft, man. I really don't.
I think that Seattle might be one, and I'm not ruling out Cincinnati, and I'm not going to rule out Pittsburgh either.
What up, T?
I think if they can get it going, they might be able to.
Pittsburgh, if they want to go after Dart, could make sense if they want that quarterback.
They might be able to. I think I'm going to maintain. I'm not if Warren's gone. You guys know how I feel about Genty. if Warren's gone, I don't really particularly. I'm not in love with anybody at that 10th overall pick.
Yeah, but just the odds of being able to find that trade partner are lower this year than they have been in past years. I think to move back. That's how I'm.
I think it really depends on how the first 9 picks goes, who gets taken, and if that team in 16, 17, 18, that's my guy. We got to trade up and get him. Or you even bounce back to 12 if the Bears are threatening to take Hampton, and they could be kicking the tires on that to push it back to force Dallas's hand to trade up from 12 to 10. That could be a possibility too. Poles is great at playing poker, and he's out there doing it right now.
But the Cowboys could just the same take their running back in the second round as well. I mean, think about the Cowboys if they take a player like Jahad Campbell and then wait for the second round to take I mean, the Cowboys have a lot of better options as well. It's sitting there at 12, and they have a deep running back class. I honestly
and they have a lot of needs for their roster, Brandon. All these teams do.
Yeah,
and
when they
not
just
a lot of
signed Jack Sanborn to play linebacker, if you can get Campbell, I think you're okay with Sanborn playing just as little as he did here. But I think the player that comes off the board after Tyler Warren, Tetero McMillan, Nash, and Genti, I honestly believe it's going to be Matthew Golden. When it comes to skill players, I do. I believe that's going to be the 4th player taken off the board, skill player wise.
And I don't disagree with that, Brandon, but I can also make an argument that Luther Burden should be in that conversation.
I would love for Luther Burden to fall to the second round. If the Bears could snatch him at 39, I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic.
And I really wanted to talk to you guys about this, and Kyle, lead us off with this one, because I want Dustin to finish this off, because this is his guy, and it's Shamar Stewart. He's in a couple of mocks that came out in the last couple of days as the Bears taking him at 10. My biggest problem with him is we've sat here on the show and said we want someone who's going to be an impactful player from day one. Everywhere I read, his tools are raw. He could develop into a dominant edge rusher. He's only averaged 1.5 sacks per year at Texas A&M. That raises some red flags for me.
That's his career high, 1.5 sacks.
Correct. Now, he is being compared to Myles Garrett and Mario Williams. Kyle, if the Bears went in at 10 with this, what we would call a development player, would this be okay with you?
No, absolutely not. For me, first of all, the top 10 pick in the NFL draft should not be a developmental player. I mean, second of all, anybody who's comparing Shamar Stewart to Myles Garrett is absolutely insane. That's ridiculous. That's not even those two do not belong in this same conversation. And if you want a guy like that, Sean, you would trade back. And if you can't, if Justin's right and there's nobody willing to trade back with, then you don't just reach on a guy because nobody's willing to trade back. If you in your mind say, if we trade back to 13, 14, 15, we can go get this guy. Oh, but there's nobody there to trade with. We'll just take him at 10. Then that's the wrong move. I mean, that means you're reaching for somebody for a position of need. I've talked about this 1,000 times, guys. If Calvin Banks is there at 10 and the Bears decide they're going to stay at 10 or they can't find a trade partner, that's the guy that you take. I mean, you can go look at the Bears statistics in totality last year. The biggest problem they had was protecting the quarterback. The development of Caleb Williams is still most important of anything on this team. And it's not just the development of Caleb Williams, guys. It's not like he's just transferring from one system to another. The Bears ran I think it was like 70%, 71% of their plays out of shotgun last year.
Yeah.
The Lions ran 44% of their plays.
They ran one of the lowest percentages of play action in the NFL last year, and Ben Johnson runs one of the highest. It's a very different offense.
It's going to be a massive, massive transition for Caleb Williams. He's going to have to trust the offensive line when he turns his back to them, when he's getting out from under the center, and it's all going to be all about timing. It's going to be timing. If that's what you're going to do with Caleb Williams, you're going to try to make him become that player who can play under center, then you need to adjust the left tackle position. He cannot. If he's getting hit often early in this transition and trying to learn this system under Ben Johnson, he's going to stop trusting his offensive lineman. He's going to start seeing ghosts, develop bad habits, and it's all going to go right. You need to get Caleb Williams as comfortable as you possibly can. We've talked about this on this podcast numerous times, guys. It's time to eliminate the excuses for Caleb Williams. This year, give him no excuses, give him everything he needs to be successful in the NFL, and let's see what type of quarterback he is come week 6, 7, 8.
Kyle's analysis of Shamar Stewart.
Brandon, where are you with Stewart?
I mean, I like Shamar Stewart. I think this is another player that you're able to trade back for, honestly. I think He's getting a lot of criticism for the lack of production, and he keeps saying the numbers don't tell the whole story. Well, they tell some of the story, that's for sure. You're not getting home, dude. So I don't know. Him and Mikael Williams are very comparable players, but Mikael Williams had 14 sacks in his career. That's a guy I'd be more comfortable with the Bears reaching on, and I would suggest, I would call this a reach, Sean. If you're taking Shamar Stewart at 10, I'm calling that a reach. I think you could trade back to 13, 14, 15, maybe even he's still around. I think Williams probably goes before Stewart, deservedly so. I don't like the idea of drafting somebody at the 10th just because you desperately need the position of edge. I agree with Kyle that a tackle is something you have to address, but if I do, well, I would have no problem with the Bears taking the right guy at the edge position with the 10th overall pick. I don't think Stewart's worth a 10th overall pick.
Guys, the edge is definitely a position that the Bears need to address. And I will say that I like Mikael Williams a lot better than I like Shamar Stewart. I think Mikael Williams is not a reach at 10. I think Mikael Williams is his spot makes total sense at 10. He reminds me of a guy you like a lot, Brandon Trayvon Walker. Who was a number 1 overall pick. He plays a very similar brand of football. When it comes to Shamar Stewart, the numbers don't tell the whole story, guys, because last year in this past season, how many QB hurries did he have? He had the 1.5 sack, but how many QB hurries did he have? You guys know?
I do not.
37. 37 QB hurries. So this guy knows how to get after the quarterback and get home. Those hurries impact plays as well. And when you do combine that with his physical abilities, which is the way he's being compared to Myles Garrett. It's not because of his production, it's because of his physical presence. He is Myles Garrett-like in terms of how he is molded. He's an athletic freak at his size as well. His RAS score was a 9.7, I believe, out of 10. He's an athletic freak, which is what's making him climb up the board because of how well he performed at the combine. But it's like those guys always make you wary, right? Like they just kind of jump out of nowhere. Shamar Stewart had some buzz going into the combine. I wouldn't be upset if they took him at 10. I think he will turn into a damn good defensive end in this draft, and he could end up being the second best defensive end in this draft. I don't know that you're going to find a trade back partner. That's what I keep coming back to in my head with the landscape of the NFL right now. The position that all these teams are in that we'd be looking at as trade back partners is going to be really hard to find that team in my estimation. So the Bears might have to take 10, and all these guys are developmental guys. Every one of these, for Caleb Williams was a developmental player last year. That's because they're prospects. They're being drafted into a new league and got to learn new things. So Shamar Stewart will be as developmental as any other player you pick in the first round, as far as I'm concerned. All these guys got to develop.
He definitely fits the mold.
I don't know, guys. Vernon and Dustin constantly complain about how Montez Sweat creates pressure, but he's not good at getting home. We've talked about how Deo is a risk because he's not good at getting home, but he does create a lot of problems. I mean, at what point are the Bears going to draft somebody who gets sacks? That's what you want, right? You want a guy who gets sacks. You guys constantly say Montez Sweat's not doing enough because he's not getting sacks. He's still impacting every play. He's just not getting sacks.
No, his hurries were down this past season too, Kyle.
Deo is the same way.
Overall performance was down.
Deo gets all the credit in the world for getting constantly in the quarterback face, constantly creating pressure, but never gets sacked. He had 3.5 sacks last year. That is not a sack machine by any means necessary. This is not Myles Garrett. You're not comparing him to guys who have 7.
Well, who is that guy, Kyle? Who is that guy available to the Bears?
There is none at 10, so you don't take one. You do not take.
So where do you take
one at 10? You either wait till next year or you trade for one. If you feel like next year there's nobody in the draft who's willing to do that, then you go get your Trey Hendrickson, or you go get. I mean, everybody talked about this offseason. Go get Micah Parsons. Go get Myles Garrett. Go get Trey Hendrickson. Some of these guys are going to be available next year as well. It happens every single year.
Dennis Moody says this right here.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah. If we're going on production, trade back and pick Mike Green, who led the NCAA in sacks with 17.5, right? Or as a Raku, who had 13.5 or 14 sacks this past season. These guys produced majorly for their teams, but they both lack size to play in this defensive scheme from what I've seen. And I don't know if either one of them really fits the mold of the guy that Dennis Allen is looking for. But if you're looking for a sack machine, Mike Green is that guy, isn't he, Sean?
Yeah, he's being compared to Khalil Mack as far as motor, size, skill. They're saying that he is Khalil Mack, is what I've been hearing over the past couple of weeks. So, really quick on Stewart, he does fit the mold of what Dennis Allen looks for. 6'5", 260. He likes, that's the size he looks for an edge. I would not be happy with him at 10, but Mike Green is someone that I'm somewhat interested in a little bit. I just, again, that production, small school, not playing big competition. I know you guys
That's
aren't
the same as Khalil Mack. That's the same as
Yeah.
Khalil Mack playing out of Buffalo, right? It's
You
the
can
same.
always find skill out of these small
Mhm.
schools every once in a while. And Marshall, I believe it's Marshall's had success over the past couple of years putting people into the NFL that have had success. So,
Well, and when
I would hope the Bears, if again Tyler Warren's not there, they can find a trade partner and get out of 10, because if you're not taking maybe that left tackle there, I don't know that there's a player at 10. I think it starts to drop off at 7, 8.
So am I the only one that thinks Mikael Williams would fit nicely at 10? Like that's exactly where I think he's really rated in this draft. He's 10 or 11 in terms of the prospects to me in this draft. It would make total sense to me if they took him at 10. Am I the only one that thinks that?
I like him more than I like Stewart.
I like Mikael Williams. My view of the edge position is very comparative to, I think, the general consensus over the running back position. I think this is a very deep class, a very deep class. I think when you're in the second round, especially where the Bears are picking in the second round, you're still getting a starting caliber edge rusher if you're taking a guy like Landon Jackson. Guys, Landon Jackson, by all measures, should be the starter over Deo if he's drafted. He should be.
Well, he's another guy with lack of sack production in college.
Yeah, he had 14 over his collegiate career, I believe. Nothing jumping off the page.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount this past season. I think he had 3.5 or something like that.
And honestly, if you're talking about like undersized guys, I actually like James Pierce just as much as I like Mike Green, but I don't think Dennis Allen does not want one of these guys. I don't think they're going to go that direction. I do believe though that these guys do not. I don't consider them blue chip players.
What do you guys think of this?
I consider them developmental projects, and I don't consider anybody who comes anywhere near that term to be a blue chip player.
Well, I'll say this. The depth is there until it's not at defensive end. I mean, I like Sawyer. Kyle brought up Sawyer last week. Sawyer is a guy that you can get in the third round probably, who I like his size. I like his tenacity. I like his motor. And he's proven it in big situations that he can get that pressure on the quarterback and make some big plays. So it's there until it's not. I think after the third round, you're really you're digging deep to find that guy, man. So the depth is there, but then it's gone.
And I will tell you, Dustin, I don't mind Mikael Williams, 6'5", 260. Everywhere I'm reading, they're saying that this guy has potential to be a bona fide superstar in the NFL. So I guess if you're going to end up taking him at 10, I would be okay with that too.
I think it fits his profile pretty well.
It's just very thin. It's just very thin for me at 10. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much and I'm falling out of love with a lot of these players. There's just no one that grabs me that says this is the guy we should have at 10. But the more you read about Mikael Williams, the more that
it starts to grow on you.
Yeah. The guy who could be an absolute stud.
I think he's a potential top 10 player in this draft. And then we all know Carter is the best defensive end. He's that defensive end we're talking about that all of us would take, no doubt about it. If he were available at 10, no shit, you're taking him. But Crooked Commish is asking, and I think I know the answer to this question, but let's just answer Crooked's question. Would you move up? Would you give up multiple picks to move up to secure Carter? We're saying we don't like the guys that are there at 10. We don't like the depth as much as, as maybe we would like to. So do you give up multiple picks to move up to 3 to get Abdul Carter?
No, not this year.
No. Not for me.
Not until Caleb Williams has no excuses left. And right now,
well, I also
he loses one of his receivers. If he loses one of his tackles, he's in big trouble. And we're going to be talking to him the same conversation at the end of this year as we've had every year. The Bears didn't put him in a good position to succeed. Until you put him in a good position to succeed, where you have a good backup tackle, good backup receivers, good backup tight ends, and there's nothing that can happen on this team that could possibly derail the development of Caleb Williams. You guys, we've talked about these defensive ends a million times. The Bears had 40 sacks last year that ranked them right in the middle of the pack. They allowed 68 sacks last year that ranked them dead last. What's the most important thing on the Chicago Bears? Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah, but their defense wasn't very good.
I'm just saying, Brandon, people talk about the Bears defense like they just had this lack of pressure. They got better. They signed Deo. They signed Grady Jarrett. You expect both those guys to contribute to this team and get sacks. So next year, instead of 16th, they should be what? 13th, 12th? I mean, you're not talking about a team that's struggling, that can't get pressure to the quarterback and by any means necessary, and is absolutely the worst team at pressuring the quarterback in the NFL.
We talk about
they are the worst team in the NFL protecting their quarterback. They are.
You say if they have an injury, they're in trouble on the offensive line. Kyle, without an injury, They're in
They're
trouble
already
on
in
the
trouble on
defensive
the
line.
defensive line.
They are now in trouble on
An
the
injury,
defensive
they're
line.
in trouble on
Their
the
defensive line is in trouble today.
They're in trouble on the
When the
offensive line.
season starts, it's not good the way it is. I'm sorry, guys. Grady Jarrett's a little past his prime. And when I say a little, I'm being very generous.
30
Dale
years
is a
old.
project.
Yeah.
We haven't seen what we
Yeah,
want to
and
see.
you guys
The
don't
Bears
like
think it's
Dale as
their
much as you
potential.
said you did, because they just gave this guy almost $50 million.
No, it
So
was just
he
called the
better be good.
worst signing of
Well, Kyle,
2025.
let's put this out here. The Bears have addressed the offensive line in a very aggressive fashion.
And the defensive line, yes, both.
Nowhere. The defensive line nowhere near as much as the.
They
offensive
added 3
line
offensive
line.
linemen. They added 2 defensive
Yeah,
linemen.
and
re-signed
the
Chris
offensive
Williams for 3
lineman that they've added is a much bigger upgrade than the defensive lineman they've added. There's no doubt about that. As much as I like
in terms of the
Dio,
money, guys, not in terms of the money.
I'm
Look
talking
at
about the
money.
production on the field, Kyle. I expect the offensive line to be a lot better this year than they were last year, just with what they've done so far. Now, I would take Kelvin Banks at 10. I would take Will Campbell at 10. The Bears need to go left tackle at 10 as far as I'm concerned. But if we're having a conversation about and I'm not going to argue with you on that, Kyle, because that's how I feel. I think that's where the Bears need to go. But if we're having a conversation about the defensive ends in this defensive line, there are holes. And if Carter could be had for a future second and a second this year, along with your first round pick, I might consider that, because he is that guy that will get you double-digit sacks consistently.
What I'm saying is a lot of Bears fans have this tendency to try to rebuild the entire team in an offseason. If you can't do that, which I do not believe the Bears can do, and I could prove to you guys that they can't, because they need depth at almost every position on the football field. They have to draft.
They will never make everything perfect for Caleb Williams, Kyle.
Yeah,
they never will.
What you can do is
happen.
Close to that word you just said, perfect for Caleb Williams, as you possibly can.
But it will
that
never
should
happen.
be the goal for the Chicago Bears. So if you go Calvin Banks, Xavier Restrepo, and Caleb Johnson, that's a lot less excuses for Caleb Williams to have a bad season. That's a lot less excuses for Caleb. Now you have a good backup running back, a good backup receiver, a good backup tackle in Braxton Jones, and you have a good starter in Calvin Banks on the left. There really is no excuses left for Caleb. Oh yeah, by the way, you just went and paid the 3rd highest paid NFL head coach in Ben Johnson, because he is considered the best offensive play caller.
That's available. The biggest part of this, Kyle. That's the biggest part of this.
They are doing. You have to do as long as you've come this far, right? Hey, we signed Joe Tooney, we signed Jonah Jackson, we went and got Drew Dolman.
Well,
if you got all these, and you went and got Ben Johnson, this offensive play caller, why not just finish the job? Go get his.
But you can't say you can't fix everything and then say, well, our coach was the problem, our offensive coordinator was the problem. We fixed both of those things. Our offensive line was the problem. We attacked that aggressively.
Keep on giving Caleb less excuses.
You can't fix
this year
100%, and they need to, but you can't fix everything in one offseason, like you just said. So you have to give some attention to the defensive side of the ball too. Is all I am saying.
But what I'm saying is, listen, guys. I'm not saying I don't want to see the Bears sign a stud defensive tackle or defensive end who can get a lot of sacks. I 100% do. I want to see the Bears pressure the opposing quarterback. That's the most important thing on defense. But what's trumps the most important thing on defense is Caleb Williams, because he's the most important thing on the football field in general. As a matter of fact, it's the most important position in American sports. The quarterback.
You're not in an argument with anybody about that.
So what I'm saying is,
all in agreement there.
So what I'm saying is, not getting sacks isn't going to help it's not going to affect the development of Caleb Williams. Getting sacked is going to affect the development of Caleb Williams. So if you can upgrade that,
getting sacks helps you win games, and winning games will help the development.
But you're not going to win the
Super
Super Bowl this year. Like the Bears' goal in my mind, guys, the Bears' goal is to win a Super Bowl in 2026. That's what I think their goal is, or at least to be competitive enough to win a Super Bowl in 2026. I don't think they're going to be competitive enough to win a Super Bowl in 2025. So if you know for a fact you're not going to win a Super Bowl, right? You're like, there's just no way you're going to win a Super Bowl this year. You don't have enough depth in any position on the field. Then why not just go and, like I said, guys, no stone unturned. Go get that left tackle. So then you're like, hey, Caleb, if Caleb had a bad season, people can't be like, yeah, but Braxton Jones was his left tackle and that guy sucks. That's his blind side. No, Calvin Banks was. Yeah, but then go get your receiver in the second round. Yeah, but DJ Moore got hurt. So they were basically down to Roma Dunze and Zacchaeus. No, they drafted Restrepo. Go get that running back, Caleb Johnson. Yeah, but DeAndre Swift got hurt. They got down to Roshan Johnson and Ian Wheeler. No, they drafted Omari Hampton
Kyle, the biggest issue was the offensive coordinator. The biggest issue was the offensive coordinator.
There's plenty of issues for the Chicago Bears.
What were the biggest issues for Caleb Williams?
The interior of the
offensive line and offensive coordinator. Well, the offensive coordinator did not really make anything. The offensive coordinator did not make anything easier for the offensive line either. So those two things work in tandem, and Ben Johnson's going to do that a lot better too. So I think they have done a really good job of eliminating the excuses for Caleb Williams already. And again, I think they should draft a left tackle.
There were issues. You said it right. There were issues. Caleb Williams didn't have any excuses. Caleb Williams got up to that podium after taking an ass whooping day. There was no excuses. Those were reasons Caleb Williams struggled.
Dude, we're not talking
Not
about we're not
excuses.
talking about him stepping up to the podium and making excuses. That's not it's a figure of speech, Brandon. What you're saying is at the end of the season, when people are looking, like when they're like, hey, let's rank the quarterbacks, and Caleb Williams is ranked 12th. Bears fans are going to say, you know why he's ranked 12th instead of first? Because of blah 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 blah. That's why he was ranked 12th. He didn't have an offensive line. He didn't have a center. He didn't have a left tackle. He only had 2 receivers. One of them got hurt. He didn't have a good running back. The running game sucked for the Bears. You have to have a good running game in order to have a good passing game. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, just get rid of all of it. All of it. Go see if Caleb Williams is the franchise quarterback.
I don't think that.
Go see if he is.
Okay.
Caleb Williams is the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears, and he's going to have multiple years to prove that.
I do think I still do think they're thin, and they could be 1 or 2 injuries on that offensive line away from being exposed.
Wide receiver room everywhere.
And a wide receiver. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. Between linebacker and wide receiver, the Bears need to address these some way, somehow. And I'm okay with the Zacchaeus signing, but if DJ Moore misses a month, Zacchaeus, I don't believe, is picking up DJ Moore's production.
Neither is Miles Boykin.
No. And that's what I'm saying. There's a serious issue here with weapons.
Yeah, Sean, worst case scenario, Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright both get hurt week 1. Both going to be out for a month.
But outside of Braxton Jones,
you're in trouble. Caleb Williams is
in
big trouble.
I forgot what we were talking about that got us here, to be honest.
Nobody can argue with the left tackle being their greatest position of need, but outside of that, I mean, what you guys are referring to is depth. So when you say, well, they got to go get a wide receiver, they got to spend a second round pick on a wide receiver because if DJ Moore and Roman Dude's going to get hurt, they have to draft guys who can replace shitty starters before they talk about replacing possible injuries.
Yeah, but Vernon, you're referring to Montez Sweat.
Yeah, but Brandon, let me ask you, I was just going to ask this. How is your depth at wide receiver right now? With DJ
how's your depth
and
with the guy across from Montez Sweat? How's your depth there? How's the guy?
Hopefully, Austin Booker has.
I can tell you this.
Develops more this season.
You watch the NFL as much as I do.
It's remarkable to me. There's no respect for Deo. We just
lead to victories, even with a bad defense. If your quarterback isn't in there, you're guaranteed to lose games. If there is no Caleb Williams, there's guaranteed L's jumping on that schedule. I can tell you that right now. You lose Montez Sweat, your offense can still pick you up and win that game.
Outscore the other team. Yes.
No Caleb Williams,
100%.
no chance.
The Bills weren't able to do that in the AFC Championship.
They made it to the AFC Championship. The Bears went 5-12, guys.
As Dustin stated, they have.
I feel like you're creating an argument that doesn't exist here. I am on board with you, Kyle. I'm just stating that what you're saying makes sense for both sides. You can't fix everything in this offseason.
Sure.
And it's never going to be perfect for Caleb.
Let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you this. The entire panel. Which side of the ball today is better?
I feel more confident in the offense.
The defense.
I feel more confident in the offense.
I mean, we
the
go
offense is the better side of the football for the Chicago Bears.
Here, Brandon.
What gives
the
my confidence?
The Bears were a top 10 defense for the first.
I was just going to say that, Kyle. Before the injuries, they were a top 10 defense in this league. Injuries started piling up.
Those are the injuries
to suck.
So you could say that about the offensive line getting injured in their play.
The offensive line sucked in week 1.
Well, you're talking about this year. You're talking about this year. We're 1 injury away from a disaster. So we were 1 or 2 injuries away from a disaster on defense last season.
You guys are ignoring Grady Jarrett and Dale. Right? Those guys were signed for. This is what.
No, I love those signings.
They were signed.
I love those signings.
In case Billings hurt, in case Vernon. You keep saying we have another defensive end. Then what is Dale? Why did we just give Dale $50 million?
I can't believe that you just said you think the defense is the stronger side of the football coming into this.
Dennis Moody agrees with him.
To me.
Yes,
there's no way. There's no way.
Let me ask you this. Brandon. Let's just start this way. Go to the secondary. Give me the weak link in the secondary for the Bears right now.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson led the league in batted passes, I believe, last year.
Potentially, Jaquan Brisker.
Sean,
Jaquan Brisker's health is the weakest link of that.
But I'm saying if you're going into the season healthy, which Jaquan Brisker already came out and said he's healthy,
you have to
give me a weak link in the
Brisker
secondary
to have another concussion. You have to.
We just said we're not banking on injuries. We're going into the season healthy. Give me
Okay,
the
then
weak
our
link in the
offensive line
secondary.
is set then.
Where do you project the
Besides
Bears'
Braxton Jones.
offense to be
Sean,
ranked
you're right.
in the
Sean,
NFL?
you're right. They had 11 interceptions last year. They were in the middle of the pack. The Bears are in the middle of the pack or better in every defensive statistical category except for the run game against the run, which they just signed Deo and Grady Jarrett to help with, right? And Billings is coming back, right? That's the goal, right? So you guys want to hear the Bears' offensive rankings last year? You want to get into their offensive rankings? They were almost dead last in rushing yards per game, almost dead last.
Isn't
As a
this
matter
what
of fact,
Ben Johnson is supposed to help us with?
Sure.
This is DeAndre Swift's
That's why
stats
he's
over his
hired,
career.
right?
In 2020, DeAndre Swift had 4.6 yards per carry. 2021, 4.1. 2022, 5.5. 2023, 4.6. He got to the Bears, 3.7. Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times last year and avoided over 50. And still took 68.
This comment from Dennis Moody saying our defense has been our strength. What's the strength of a 5-win team, guys? Where is the real strength on a 5-win team? That there is no strength there. That you don't have it on either side. Listen, the sacks the 68 sacks is unacceptable, and the Bears need to fix that. Part of that is coaching. Part of that is offensive line. Two things that they've already been addressing. They should continue to address the offensive line. I agree 100%, but they should also address both sides of the trenches. Both sides of the trenches still need to be addressed.
Well,
that's where I'm at.
Talking about a strength, we're also the fan base that was celebrating 10, 15 games in a row where we didn't give up 3 touchdowns in a game.
The Bears were ranked 27th in total defense by Fox Sports.
Yeah, by the end of the year. Go back to the midseason before they were injured.
We talked about this
on the
podcast
defense.
every week about it. They still have not allowed over 20
their
points.
Their defense on paper will be ranked going into the season lower than their offense.
There's concerns on both sides of the ball, guys. And here's the thing, though. At 10, and I think we need to reel this back in because I don't think we're on separate sides here of this conversation, though it feels like we are for some reason. At 10, you have multiple options that you can address. You can go in a myriad of different ways because of the lack of talent that was on this team this past season on both sides of the ball. There's a reason we're having a trouble pinning down what the Bears are going to do. We're all wanting this team to get better. It needs to get better on both sides of the ball. And yes, Caleb Williams, Kyle, is your number one asset. You need to do everything you can to protect him.
The first time we've ever had a Caleb Williams.
100%. And maybe the last time you ever will. So you need to take advantage of it. I agree 100%. But that goes both ways for both sides of the ball.
And I would trade some picks for Abdul Carter if that was an option.
And by the way, guys, if you're talking about improving one side of the ball in the draft, the Bears the amount they're spending on defense is a ton more than on offense. Like
a lot of that is Montez Sweat, Kyle. A lot of that
it's Montez Sweat. It's Deo. It's Grady Jarrett. It's Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson's a steal of a contract.
Oh yeah, and by the way, they're about to give Kyler Gordon another $30 million. So there's got another $30 million.
I got no problem with that. Jalen Johnson's making $12 million a year less.
That's fine. But if you're going to spend all your money on defense, then go build the offense through the draft.
But Kyle, didn't you say next off season they should go sign a guy like Myles Garrett? Didn't you say that just 10
I said they
ago?
could if they felt like there wasn't any good defensive end in that draft. But Brennan, next year, if you've eliminated excuses for Caleb Williams, if he has the perfect, like Dustin said, it's never be perfect, but as close to perfect as you possibly think you can get, then you can use that draft capital next year. You're like, hey, we don't really need to address anything on offense. Caleb Williams has a pretty good situation going. Let's trade our draft and go get that defensive end we want.
It's unbelievable to me that
he doesn't have that. He's not in that position this year, guys. He doesn't have a left tackle.
Your 10th overall pick, a second rounder, and maybe a third from next year to get an Abdul Carter, to me just sounds like a no-brainer. It really does. It sounds like it.
So you don't think that there's that defensive end is in this draft?
Player.
So Sean, you don't think that defensive end is in this draft? That game-changing defensive end.
Abdul Carter's nursing 2 injuries coming into the draft, a shoulder and a foot. And you guys want to trade up for a guy who's nursing a stress fracture, I believe, in his foot?
You want to draft Josh Simmons?
Yeah, I'm good. Because I just watched Josh Simmons tear up his pro day. I watched him just dash across the field like a reindeer. I'm okay with him right now.
Like a reindeer.
All right, Brennan. Well, then you tell me, Brennan, you draft the defensive end at 10. What are you doing at left tackle next year? I want to hear your please.
I would
Well, who's
probably-
to say,
sincerely
Kyle,
ask-
who's
I'd
to
probably
say that
take
you can't
Connerly
get
in the second round.
Connerly in the second? Who's to say
Yeah.
would you be okay with Josh Connerly as in the second round?
No, you guys know for a fact, I've said this 1,000 times. This isn't for the sake of any argument here, guys. Left tackle to me, I know Dustin says defensive end. To me, left tackle is the second most important position in the NFL. Well, it depends. If your quarterback is right-handed and his blind side is the left side of the field,
Scott,
I
that
agree.
is the
Abdul
second
Carter's
most.
not
You know why?
overrated.
Do you guys know what happens if Caleb Williams tears his ACL because he gets hit on a blindside hit? You know what happens? This season is over. It's done. It's gone. It's over. So if you go get your Trent Williams or Calvin Banks, whoever you want to, whoever you consider to
Kyle,
be that guy.
real
Hey,
quick,
really quick, I'm
who's
sorry.
that guy
I meant,
in this
I
draft?
meant like a gazelle, not a reindeer.
Okay.
I totally dropped the ball on that.
And
Hey, Rangers
Kyle,
can
who is
run.
that? We're saying there's no defensive end, game-changing defensive end in this draft. And here's a really good question: who is that left tackle in this draft to you?
the
'Cause a lot of
guy,
people are saying they don't.
the
have
guy
one.
whose entire collegiate career, over 2,000 snaps, allowed 3 sacks. Calvin Banks.
Will Campbell's right there with him too. Will Campbell is right there with him, Kyle.
Well, I
in
wanted
terms
to
of
ask you
sacks
guys
allowed
this.
and
I wanted to
performance
ask you
throughout
this.
his career.
Do you think that Abdul Carter is a better edge prospect than either of those guys are tackle prospects? Right?
This is why I don't
At the
want.
position respectively, do you think Abdul Carter is a more impactful edge rusher in the NFL than Campbell and Banks can be as left tackles? I guess that's the question you ask yourself.
I don't think Campbell's
Is
going to be a
Carter-
left tackle in
Is
the NFL.
Carter worlds in a way better than these guys at the position he plays?
No.
And I believe that Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are better than majority of the rest of this
I
class.
think Mason
Even
Graham
Mason
will be
Graham
more.
is below
I think he'll
those
be a
guys.
more impact player than Abdul Carter.
I do
I
too.
believe
Okay.
Mason Graham will be
That's
more.
fair. I mean, Mason Graham is
I
a
do
damn
too.
good player. He's a top 3 player in this draft to me.
If I'm trading up,
I think it's
that's what I'm
Hunter,
getting.
Carter, and Graham. Those are your top 3 players in this draft. So that makes sense. But I just don't know why Will Campbell gets slept on so hard. I mean, his arm length is all it is. The guy went 27 games
Banks
without
has
allowing
almost
a
the
sack.
same arm length, doesn't he?
And it's a what, a quarter of an inch more.
Yeah.
The guy went 27
is
games
better.
without allowing a sack in the SEC. Man, he's a stud too. Between Banks and Campbell, I would be happy with either one at 10. I really would. I love both of those guys, and I don't think either one should move to guard.
I
That's
would
the way
not be
feel.
upset if the Bears traded up. Let's say Abdul Carter falls a little bit. They trade up 4 spots to get Abdul Carter, and it costs them 2 picks. I'm cool with it.
Okay, but now
Listen.
I'm asking you. If
I agree with
you're
Dennis
not,
Moody
if you're
there
not
as well.
comfortable with going into the next year with a second round tackle you drafted this year, who you don't know what you're going to get out of, right? You have no idea what you're going to get from him because it's the same thing as every other tackle taken in the mid rounds.
Well, you don't know what you're going to get out of anybody. Campbell and
Yeah,
Banks could both
obviously,
fail
but
miserably. as
you know, like
tackles.
there's a reason Myles Garrett was the first pick in the draft, and now all of a sudden
And
he's the
Abdul
Hall of
Carter
Famer,
will
right?
be-
Like, generally, you know what you should expect from these guys. You watch the tape, you watched for years in college the way they handle themselves.
Right, there's a
You
reason
expect that
Abdul
to
Carter is
transition to
ranked the
NFL,
best
right?
talent in the draft.
So if one of those second round tackles doesn't work out, and that's the reason he fell to the second round, is because there were some question marks around him, right? And now you don't like Connerly next year, and you don't like Braxton Jones. What are you doing at left tackle?
Probably drafting one.
And where you expect the Bears to have a top 10 pick?
Well, this by all measures,
Left
what you
tackles go
say.
fast.
If the tackle
Left
fails
tackles go
miserably, they
fast,
will
bro.
be
They go
because
fast
Caleb
in the
Williams
draft.
didn't have the season he's supposed to have. I think the Bears will be just fine on the offensive line with Braxton Jones. To be honest, I would
Guys.
love for them to draft a tackle. I would, but I don't think the Bears. I think the Bears' offensive line right now, guys, on paper is probably a top 12 unit.
So are
I
you?
think that the
you're
Bears'
paying
defensive
Braxton
line
Jones?
right
Is
now,
a top
on
maybe
paper,
top 20, maybe a
is
20,
a top
Brandon,
24 unit.
maybe 20,
Yeah, somewhere
maybe
I'd
20
say
at
somewhere
best.
18 to 24. That's where I put the
Are you
Bears'
paying
defensive-
Braxton Jones? Are you extending
Fuck
Braxton
no,
Jones?
Braxton Jones is not getting paid. Listen, I'll say
No,
this.
yeah, I'm okay with letting him go after this.
Polls saying that Polls rationalizing it in his head after he just spent a 3rd round pick on Karan Amagaji. And as Sean has pointed out, Braxton Jones is his pet project. And I've hired a new offensive line coach who is supposed to be the shit. I've hired my new head coach whose offense is going to make this easier on my offensive line. It makes sense to me. I don't like it, but it makes sense to me, him rationalizing that I'll run a competition between Braxton and Karan and spend my assets elsewhere. That makes sense to me. I am not for it. I think Campbell or Banks makes total sense at 10, and I'm with you. But you could see a scenario where Poles does not go that direction this year because he just spent a 3rd round pick last year and he has confidence in Braxton Jones. I have never had confidence in Braxton Jones. I'm trying to rationalize that from Poles' perspective.
Justin, I completely understand.
And he made it sound like that's what's
very
going
well
to
said.
happen.
He really did.
What I'm saying is, if for some reason Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright, or even say Karana Magaji starts. Karana Magaji and Darnell Wright got hurt in the same game. They're both going to miss 3 weeks, right? They had high ankle sprains. Nothing crazy, but they're both going to be out 3 weeks. I am much more comfortable with Calvin Banks or Josh Simmons walking in onto the field and being that anchor of the offensive line. Like, don't worry, it's not going to be much of a drop off. I got this shit. Rather than some guy like Connerly in the second round, who every team in the NFL is like, yeah, he's not worth the first round pick. He's not that good.
Are you saying draft Banks and put him on the bench?
If you can, if you want, you can let him develop.
That's a project.
He's immediately.
Would I start him? I would start him.
He's immediately your best left tackle.
Personally,
let me ask you guys
be
this,
better than Darnell Wright.
Kyle, I like Calvin Banks. I love Calvin Banks, to be honest. I would love Calvin Banks if the Bears drafted Calvin Banks at number 10. Let me ask you this, because this has been mocked a lot. Calvin Banks and Will Campbell aren't on the fucking board. Are you just taking Membu because that's
falling, man.
That's how much you want that left tackle? You're just taking Membu next. I mean, what are you doing then?
No, Vernon. I just said Josh Simmons or Calvin Banks.
You're taking Simmons at 10 when you can get him at 22.
Well, that comes down to if there's a trade back scenario, guys. I just want to say this: every show we do on Mondays, I can tell how it's going to go after Kyle goes. For the first time, Kyle.
I just want to say this:
Kyle's on fire tonight.
The Bears fans. See what I think. I think a lot of Bears fans live in this world, but they don't know. They've never known what it's like to have a franchise quarterback. They don't know. They don't understand. They're like, "What do you mean? We just keep drafting defense like we've done our whole lives." Caleb's amazing. He'll find a way to make it work. No. Go make this an offensive powerhouse. A team like the Chiefs,
Membu's a right tackle
and just go
Membu by
destroy the competition. Score 40 points a game.
Yeah, but he's a right tackle. Some people say he could play left, but he's by all accounts he's also best fitted as a right.
So Sean,
tackle.
is that what you're doing? You're taking Membu if the two are off the board?
God no, we got Darnell Wright.
Guys, the chat was going kind of crazy over Green. People really love him. Scottish Bear saying he's going to be the best edge in this draft. Dennis Moody saying he's the Jalen Carter of this year, falling because of character, but he is a legit stud. They think that they both think he's better than Abdul Carter. We kind of just glossed over Mike Green. What do you guys think that he could be that guy for this Bears defense?
I think if the Bears passed on Jalen Carter because of character issues, I don't see him extending an olive branch to a guy who's had some
major concerns,
pretty extreme allegations. Some pretty extreme allegations. I don't even want to get into them because I don't know how much I can say on this.
Foles has stayed away from those guys 100%.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
I do really like Mike Green, but again, you guys are right. He's got some serious allegations against him.
Most likely takes him off the Bears board.
Off-field questions.
Sean, how do you feel about Jack Sawyer?
About who?
Jack Sawyer.
I like Jack Sawyer.
I love Jack Sawyer.
I like Jack Sawyer. I loved him at Ohio State. He pretty much showed his worth. I mean, they didn't win the national championship without him.
He could be the unsung hero of this draft at defensive end. Yeah, he really could be.
He's all gas, no brakes, and he seems like a really good leader. He seemed like a really good leader for the Buckeyes for his 4 years that he was there. He developed and became better and got better and better and better every year. I would love Jack Sawyer on the Bears.
I think he'd be great for the culture. I think he'd be great for the culture.
He's definitely a culture guy. That is the one thing that they said about him at Ohio State. He set the culture the moment that he went in there, and he just grew it every single year. He was the leader of a national championship defense. I take him all the day.
Sean, do you think he belongs in the conversation with the guys we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes?
Not in the first round.
But I mean, like in terms of the impact he's going to have in the NFL, do you think he'll be close enough to those guys that you can just be like, let's wait on a defensive end until the second round. Take Jack Sawyer. He'll have enough production in the NFL to the point where we don't have to go and get one of these guys like a Green who's got these legal issues or these other.
Why couldn't Jack Sawyer be Trey Hendrickson? Why couldn't he be? Why couldn't he be that level?
Certainly could, man.
Why not? I mean, a third round pick, your 72 pick being spent on a guy like Sawyer, I would feel very good about that. But like Sean's saying, I'm not touching him in the first or second round.
Can I ask this question, especially for the chat? If you like Mike Green, right? He is what, 6'4", 240, 245. If you like Mike Green,
so small, man, for that.
James Pierce is 6'5", 245.
James Pierce is fit for a 3-4. He's not fit for a 4-3. So I don't know that I want anything to do.
What's the difference in the two? James Pierce had 17 and a half sacks over. What's the difference?
He doesn't fit Dennis Ellis' scheme.
You can't just
I don't think either
and say they're the same player, man.
I don't think either one's strength is going to be a hand in the dirt for free defensive end.
I think that Ryan Poles will find a very grave difference between the two of them, Kyle. The same difference he found in Jalen Carter.
Braden Fisk is almost the exact same size as Aaron Donald. Is Braden Fisk going to be Aaron Donald?
Kyle,
no.
He didn't have allegations.
It doesn't matter.
James Pierce doesn't have allegations.
Brandon's talking about the character issues.
I'm talking about the things that Mike Green is probably still going to deal with, guys. I mean,
guys, we're going to have to get into these mocks if we're going to get to them. We're going to have to get into these mocks if we're going to get to them.
Yeah, let's start it now.
Yeah, you know what? This is a good spot.
Every scenario we possibly can at 10 or trading back. Let's see how this works out for the Bears, or how it could potentially work out for the Bears. Let's do a few of them, guys.
Great.
We're going to do 3 different scenarios, right? 3 different scenarios.
Let's see what works out the best.
It's a great opportunity to flip the script for a second. Everyone take a deep breath. We celebrate the Chicago Bears draft at 102 North River Street in River Street Tavern, East Dundee, Illinois, where we will be podcasting live, getting your reactions, talking to all of you. We're going to have wonderful drink specials out there. $3 16-ounce Coors Lights, half-price chicken bites, raising money for charity. How are we doing that? We are auctioning off this awesome Charles Tillman autograph, this awesome DJ Moore autograph, awesome Dan Hampton autograph. We also have a couple sets of Cubs tickets. Hopefully the weather will warm up because I'm not jealous of anybody out there this evening.
Sean, did you see that the opening pitch is going to be colder than it was for the Winter Classic, the start of the Winter Classic?
I have it on the TV right
34
now.
34 degrees.
They're all wearing face masks and long
I like it, Dennis Booty. I like it.
So, and then on top of that, we also got added a Dan Hampton autographed helmet. I have the DJ Moore autographed helmet sitting right here. So come out and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Some time with us. We'd like to put some comments to some faces. River Street Tavern for the draft. We will be starting podcasting at probably around 6:30. I don't think we've set the time yet, but we'll figure that out. But more importantly, come and spend some time with us at River Street. It's going to be a fantastic time. And again, we're going to be out there. So what could be better?
Sean's going to do a backflip, guys.
I'm going to do a backflip if draft Tyler Warren.
What time is the draft? What time's the draft? 7?
I think the draft starts at 7. Doors open at 6.
Yeah, let's not workshop this on the ad. I'll be there as long as my baby don't come before then. I plan on being there. but
when's your due date?
It's May 8th, man. But
bring her with.
My plan is to bring her with as long as she don't go into labor before then, bro.
No,
see how it goes. Oh, no.
Maybe she'll get so excited at the Bears draft pick she'll go into labor.
that's my hope. That's my hope. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast, guys. It's gonna be a hell of a time. Come out and see us, and
Crooked Commish. We will definitely get a Cubs watch party together for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do
that signed DJ Moore photo is one of the sickest pictures I've ever seen. A still frame photo from a.
I love the snow photos, man.
Yeah, that's
well, guys. I was thinking about taking it and putting it into my collection and giving away a different one, but now you guys just ruined it.
Well, you've also been
showing the picture for 2 weeks, Sean.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it didn't come. It got lost in the mail.
Sean's just gonna draw stick figures and little snow falling. You've won this awesome autograph, DJ Moore.
This was made by Hunter Biden. It's worth less.
Let's get to this mocks, guys. Let's get to these mocks. We're gonna do 3 different. We're gonna do a left tackle, because we really want that, me and Kyle, right? We're going to do a skill position player because Brandon brought that up today. And we're going to do a trade back scenario because Sean wants that very badly. And we're going to do the full drafts, and we're going to see which one comes out graded better. Correct, Sean? By PFF?
We're going to do all 7 rounds?
We need to see how it actually plays out. We don't need to take forever on it, but let's see how these – because I want to see what the strategy leads to in terms of your overall.
Yeah, I agree. You'll
That's the only way to do it.
See the outcome of making that move at 10 or trading back. You'll see how it impacts the rest of the draft. You got to do the whole draft.
I agree.
All right, hold on, boys. I'm going to be off the screen.
Me and Kyle agree for once. Yay.
Hey, we both want left tackles. We both
want left tackles.
Day one.
Yes, 100%. So first one, which one do you guys want to do? You want to do the left
Well,
tackle?
let's see if the trade back.
Let's see what we got.
All right, we're gonna start right now. Booyah. The Bears at 10. Matthew Golden went at 9. Hunter went
Wow.
at 8. Wow.
Travis Hunter fell to 8. That is not happening at all.
Yeah, maybe we should
Jade Barron went 6. Wow, I love Jade Barron.
Ashton Gianti to the Jaguars. No, come on.
Okay, whatever it is, what it is, man. It's called a simulation for a reason.
We didn't get any trade offers.
No, the trades are in there. There's trades.
Yep, there's 6.
Yeah, can I see them real quick, Sean?
Can you see them?
Well, you just. Oh, is this it? No,
Yeah, this is it.
Isn't it usually like in a box? Like a
This is
pop-up?
PFF.
Oh, all right.
What are they offering us?
I think we have to put the trade together.
Interesting.
So the 6 teams offering us a trade right now would be the Cowboys, Falcons, Texans, Giants, Raiders, and the Jets.
Raiders.
Giants are off the board, and so are the Raiders because they've already picked in the first round. We're not.
The Giants
Guys,
are offering us
real
multiple
quick.
picks.
I do believe if there's, because Dustin, you made a good point in stating it's going to be hard for the Bears to find a trade partner in a draft like this. I agree. I think Will Johnson is going to be that piece. I think that's going to be the person that the guy that teams.
That could make sense. Will Johnson would make sense. Genty if he were to fall. Shador Sanders if he were to fall. Or even a Jackson Dart if a team gets really obsessed with him and wants their quarterback, like the Steelers, like we mentioned earlier.
Who were mocks today taking Shador Sanders at 21.
So right now we got Membu, Simmons, and Banks at the tackle to take.
So this is the one we're going to draft the left tackle at 10, correct?
Or I mean, unless you guys want to pull off a trade with the Cowboys.
Or you could do your skill position player and do Tyler Warren.
Who are the skill? Yeah, we got Tyler Warren. We got Teteroa McMillan there, who I don't want to touch.
No, I'm not touching T-Mac. Sorry. I like T-Mac. I'm not taking him in the first round.
Here's your top players available.
The Bears,
T-Mac,
let's
Warren,
just exclude
Starks,
the Bears drafting
Campbell,
a receiver.
Membu.
Well, and then Sean, Amari and Hampton's still there.
Amari on Hampton is the running back.
He's just not in the top. He's down the list a little bit. Or did I? Yeah, he's down the list.
There he is.
Yeah, he's right there. He's 24.
24.
Average draft position 24.
Travion Henderson.
Okay, so it's Tyler Warren, it's Kelvin Banks, or it's a trade back. Those are our options right now. Let's
take Kelvin Banks. Let's take Kelvin Banks.
Let's go. This is the tackle draft.
Draft, help us out.
Jesus, you happy cow.
What's the trade offer here? Can we do a trade, or should we just stick with
There's one trade? The Chargers. They're offering us. I don't. 55. Actually, we have to take 55 and 86, and then they would get 39.
Let's try 55, 86, and 125.
Seriously?
Let's
for
see
39? I mean, we can do it. We can force the trade.
Yeah, just offer it. See what happens.
There's 73%.
No, that's such a far trade knockdown, guys. That's 16 spots we're moving back.
We're moving down pretty far.
Yeah,
remember, you still have 41. Remember that?
Yeah, I know, but still, it's not worth it.
All right, let's just do no trades in this draft, and we'll do trades in the next one. So let's see.
Siobhan Rebel.
Yep, these are your top players on the
Xavier
board.
Watt, Josh Connerly.
Can I see the running backs?
Yeah,
Josh Connerly's still there in the second round.
Wow. The running backs went.
Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson,
Junkins there.
Jenkins. They're all there.
Let's take Travion Henderson.
I mean,
not at 39.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get one of these guys with our next.
There is no running backs in this right now that are worth it based on their average draft position. Hampton went 29 to Washington.
I think Johnson, Henderson, and Junkins are all worth the pick right here, to be honest.
God, I hope Hampton doesn't go to Washington.
But let's look at defensive ends.
Defensive ends.
Ends and tackles.
There's your Landon Jackson.
Well, I like the first three. I like all three of the top three right here, actually.
I like Landon Jackson better than all of them, though.
Sean, can you tell me the average draft position of Jack Sawyer?
Jack Sawyer. Let's take this.
Running back and edge. Okay, there you go.
Where is Jack Sawyer? There he is. He's 60, 57.
Average draft position 57.
So you might be able to get him in the third round, possibly.
Yeah, so let's just hold off.
Probably not.
Unless you guys want that what's his name?
I want
Landon
Landon
Jackson?
Jackson. I would want Landon Jackson here.
All right,
unless-
so there you go. So you've now drafted a left tackle and an edge.
yeah.
All
And
right.
I,
What we've been talking about.
Everyone
Now-
go with Landon Jackson?
Brandon,
I 100% am.
You know I am.
all right, let's go look at the running backs.
Now we go running back. Caleb Johnson.
Or you take Xavier Watts, whose average draft position is 42, and you can get him at 41, and there's your backup for Jaquan Brisker.
I'm not touching him over a running back here.
Backup over a starting running back.
I'm taking my running back here.
Here's your running back. You have
It's
you go.
Henderson or it's Judkins, and for me it's Judkins. But
Yeah, I mean between those two, I'm fine with Judkins.
I know you guys might call me crazy, dude, but Dylan Sampson is a really sexy pick right here, man.
he is
I
not
like-
better than Quinshon Judkins.
I don't know, man.
I'm all in on Henderson. Honestly, I think
But,
this kid's
you know,
going to be.
And
special.
from my perspective, Henderson and DeAndre Swift kind of become redundant. They
do.
they play the same role for you. I think
Yeah, one's just way better.
I think we need our let's
guy
not,
right
shit,
here.
let's not shit on DeAndre Swift before he
How
actually
about-
gets a chance.
How
in
about
a
that,
legit
Sean?
offense
Caleb
with
Johnson went in
a
between
good
our two
offensive
picks.
line.
Sean, don't even do it. I see you floating above.
This guy right here.
To me, it's Judkins or it's Henderson, and I would prefer Judkins, but you guys can pick either one. Let's just
Yeah,
we
Caleb
should get our
Johnson
running back.
42.
Yeah, I'm with Dustin. Let's keep doing the Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. Let's keep the hype.
Well, that doesn't
All
narrow
right,
it
what's
down.
the chat?
between
What's the
two.
chat say? Henderson or Judkins?
I don't
Anyone
care
in
which
the
one of
chat?
the two, but I'd prefer Judkins. I just think he's
Chat's been
all
quiet.
around.
Chat's
Chat's
been
been
quiet. Yeah.
I'll do. What do you guys want to do?
Just go Judkins.
All right, we'll go Judkins.
Brandon's pissed. Maybe we can get Travion.
Well, I
Henderson
don't want to be the
72.
only voice that vouches for Henderson. I don't want to be the one guy.
I would have went with
We'll
Henderson.
go
I think
with
Henderson's a
Brandon.
better prospect altogether. He's got better breakaway speed, better pass catcher.
Sean didn't back you up, man. What do we got on safety? What do we got on safety here? Is Makuba still there? Is the question?
Is
He is.
Malachi
So is
still there?
Latham Ransom, who I
Oh.
love.
Makuba is so much better than Ransom, dude. So much better, from my perspective.
Well,
They're
Ransom
going
wasn't on the Bears' top 30 visits, so I'd imagine if the Bears are picking here, they're probably going.
Yeah, they're probably taking Makuba.
But do
Yeah.
we think safety is the place to go, or do you want
I
to
don't
look
know.
at?
Well, I mean, their
Defensive tackles.
average draft position and their ranks are. I mean, they're
equal.
1-2. Yeah.
Sean, let
Yeah.
me see defensive tackle.
Tackle. Oops.
Probably
Where
Slim
is-
Pickens.
Oh,
at this-
yeah, it's right there.
Oh, defensive tackle. Sorry.
Right. Probably Zach Pickens. Slim Pickens.
Jesus. Inside offensive.
Oh, Jesus. What am I doing?
Yeah, that's a
got
good
going on
question.
here?
It clearly says defensive tackle right there. But,
What are you doing, bro?
Very
I don't
last
see
one.
defensive tackle.
all
Very
right,
last.
go there.
Right
Go
there.
there.
There you go. Jordan Phillips.
So we're looking at a nose with Walker and Phillips, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Peebles is another one, dude. Peebles had one of the highest sack rates in college
Yeah,
last
but-
year. at the
Sean,
position.
can I see the wide receivers?
I
I
don't,
don't
love
like
drafting.
I don't like
love
any of
drafting
these tackles here.
No.
Yeah. I like Jalen Royals a lot.
I like Jalen Noel a lot.
Savion Williams is another one that's in
Isaiah Bond's still there, top 30 visit.
Is Restrepo gone?
Restrepo is gone.
Oh, there's no way Restrepo's still on the board.
That's 72. I'd be really happy
He's
with Jalen
projected
Noel.
the third round pick, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's climbing, man. He's being called the best route runner in college football. I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think in real life he is not going to be.
He went in the third round in this draft, guys. He went in the third round.
I don't. He's not going to be there at 72.
Trey Harris is another one. I actually like a few of these guys, and I like Jalen Royals too.
I think Royals is the best of this bunch that's available if we were going receiver, and I think he can, fit into that slot role.
Should we see if by some
It's-
stupid chance that like Colston Loveland and somebody's still around?
It's very important to mention that Ben Johnson believes the slot role always gets the ball the most in his offense.
And that's why
Mason Taylor's still there.
Taylor's still
Mason
there.
Taylor,
So is Fannin.
he's still
So is
there.
Gunnar Helm.
Mason Taylor has sneaky upside to be a really good starting tight end in the NFL for many years.
I mean,
He
for
does.
me, in all honesty, if I'm looking at someone, I mean, Jalen Noel, there is your prototypical NFL slot receiver.
I think between him and Royals, you're getting that guy either way. Who was the first guy we looked at? Makuba. Makuba is a guy I fell in love with when we did our scouting reports on him, man.
And he's also a very big position of need, especially if everyone is worried about our
not
boy.
just worried about Brisker, worried about Bayard after this year. Like that. There's multiple
Bayard,
reasons.
Bayard.
Multiple reasons.
Let's
No,
take
he's-
Makuba.
Let's
Let's take Makuba.
Yeah.
Top 30 visit for the Bears. He's still there at 72. A little bit earlier than his draft projection, but
Did we lose the chat here? What's going on?
We're not live anymore.
I exited the show.
no, they're still in there. They're just not talking to us. They don't like us anymore.
Kyle
They're
Williams
enamored.
is still there.
They're enamored by our drafting.
Interesting.
So they're still saying, didn't we draft the running back already?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
We got all three of the needs that they have.
What
on
about
here.
what about defensive tackle or
Bruce is still
thanks.
here.
inside offensive line?
Ooh, Simon Barrow. I like that.
Okay, what do you know about Tonka Hemingway, Sean?
I know his name's Tonka Hemingway.
His
I do
name
like
is-
Simon. Yeah, when we did our,
He plays in South Carolina.
show,
The
I did
third.
Simon Barrow, dude. Simon Barrow, I think, is a little underrated in this draft.
Tonka is destined for one of the best nicknames in the NFL for sure.
What are we looking at? A linebacker.
Linebacker in the
No, sorry, I was just
fourth
looking at tight end.
round.
Linebacker. Jack Sawyer might still be here. Cody Simon is still here. I like Cody Simon too.
Yeah, I'm not touching any of these guys with this pick. I'm not doing it.
I don't know how you guys even see this.
Guys,
Kobe
I
King.
think defensive tackle or another defensive end or maybe an inside offensive lineman. A guy that if
Let's
there
take a look at the edges. Oh boy, it's getting kind of slim.
yeah, it gets slim real fast, man.
Plus, you already took one.
What was the other position you said? Offensive tackle?
Inside offensive line could be a guard or an edge.
The guard. I just went to guard first.
Watching your keep.
There we go. There we go.
Killing.
I like Seth McLaughlin too.
Luke Kandra is a solid player. Seth McLaughlin is a solid player. I mean, you're getting some solid depth there, I think, with either of those two
Dylan
guys.
Fairchild's another one, but
Mhm.
he might be there with your next pick possibly. But Jake Major, he's still there.
Dylan
Wow.
Fairchild is a Bears top 30 visit. So
Yeah, he
that's
is.
the guy they're going to have their eye on.
Who's our best available here?
I'd say it was one of those defensive tackles.
Or it was it Kyle Williams out of Washington State, the receiver?
Yeah, wide receiver, I think.
I mean, he's still there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wonder
63.
why. His rank
wonder
is
why.
63.
Oh wow.
Why is he still there at
His ADP is 130.
Let's pull his profile up real quick. I'm curious about this guy.
Is he white?
He had 5 drops. He averaged 8.5 catch.
Yeah, he's just pretty run of the mill, ordinary, ain't he?
Yeah. I don't like the receiving yards.
Slot yards 392. It's decent.
Well, are those his yards per game on the right there?
No, these are his snaps. Where's the
No,
slot yards?
I'm sorry, on the other right.
70 receptions for 1,196 yards and 14
that's-
touchdowns this past
That's his
season.
grade by game. 2020.
Yeah, over here. Yeah, grades by game.
1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad, dude.
Yeah, I like this guy. I was looking at I thought 454 was his receiving yards. It says deep yards. Sorry, it's really small. Right?
Oh, that's
yeah.
broken down by the.
I like
different
this guy a lot,
categories.
dude. And his rank is
Solid-
63. This is
solid
by far the
slot.
best value you're going to get.
QB rating when targeted 130.
Yeah, draft him.
All
Draft
right,
Kyle
we'll
Williams.
draft him.
And every good Chicago sports team has a Kyle.
Sorry, Jack.
Kyle Williams is the guy that killed me in the playoffs against the Giants for the 49ers. Kenny Williams Sutton, right?
You know the guy who fumbled on the punt
Yeah,
return?
yeah.
Now we're down to 233. So now we're basically picking whatever. These are your best available right here. Oh no, it's just wide. Oh no, the wide receivers are the best available.
Elijah Badger.
Should we see those defensive tackles real quick, Sean?
Ty Robinson is still there. That's the guy at defensive tackle. Howard Cross is solid as well.
Thor Griffith.
I like Thor Griffith.
That's another great look at that value. He's ranked 192. We're picking at 233 here. Like,
I like either one of those top three guys, man. Thor Griffith or Ty Robinson. I
6 sacks this year. He obviously has gotten better every year. Actually, down year compared to his first year.
Hey, what's his size? What are his measurables?
He is. Why don't they have? They don't have that
First
on
look.
here.
First look. Or that.
Sean, go to show more, and then you see right there where it says stats.
Gotcha.
He's
6'6", 310.
290.
Holy shit. 6'6", 310. That's like he's Jervon Dexter's
Out
height.
of Nebraska,
Yeah.
his draft buzz has him listed at 6'5", 290.
Well, that's a pretty big difference there, isn't it?
It's a really big difference. This is
Well,
BFF.
Look at the value. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I haven't done a bunch of research on all these guys in the 5th, 6th rounds, but look at the value right there. 7th round. He's ranked
overall-
192.
His overall rating's really good.
Yeah,
He's
I say we draft
80
Ty Robinson.
81.
If PFF has him ranked 192 and we're sitting here at 233, I don't think you can go wrong here. I would draft.
What do you
Ty
think, Bruce?
Let's go with Ty Robinson.
And the Cubs are bottom of the second here. Runner on 1-0. Sack fly by Miguel Amaya drove in Bush. And Justin Steele seems to be having a pretty good outing so far. So that's a really good sign for the Northsiders.
Check out the Northside 9 on Saturday, guys.
Ty Robinson. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Booyah. Let's
gotta
draft a kicker.
We gotta go a little quicker on these things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
I mean, dude, to get Raheem Sanders right now would be a freaking steal and a half, dude.
I think
Yeah,
so
we
too.
should take him. We should take him.
We took Judkins and then we're gonna take Sanders.
Yeah, your running back room is rebuilt, dude.
Okay.
yeah.
So bye Roshan Johnson, right?
You could also get out of Swift's contract next year for.
Okay, so Kelvin Banks got us a D-. Oh shit.
Yeah, they're saying that we should have drafted Tet McMillan.
Quinshon Judkins got us a D. Kyle Williams an A+. Andrew McCouba got us a C-. We killed it in the later rounds finding value, guys.
Yeah,
And Landon Jackson.
Yeah, but they're saying in terms of where they're projected to go. I mean, Sean or Dustin, you've said 1,000 times you think Judkins should be going higher than 41. So
I 100% do, and I also Kelvin Banks is falling in his ratings, guys. Kelvin Banks I've seen mocked to the Chiefs at 31.
that would suck for the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, it really would. What's our total grade then?
A B.
All right, so we got a B on our left tackle.
All right.
Let's do our trade back, or let's do our position player.
With our worst grade being our left tackle.
Yes.
No,
But I highly
I
disagree
don't-
with that.
I'm not
I highly
buying into that.
disagree
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
sorry, man, but that's just ridiculous.
I would take Will Campbell over Kelvin Banks, though. I would.
Really?
I would. It's close. It's close for me, but I would take Campbell over him. But I would be happy with either one, man.
All right, let's go skill player draft.
All right, we're going. Boom. Entering the draft.
Starting the draft.
All right. So Tyler Warren went at 9, Genty went at 8, and T-Mac went at 5.
Maybe we should
don't do
should
the
do our
position
trade
player
back.
here.
Yeah, let's do our trade back draft, guys. Let's do our trade back draft.
Yeah, we should have went Tyler Warren on the last one. All
So
right, so let's
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think Pittsburgh's perfect. It's 21.
who else do we have though? Who else do we have?
Keeps going down.
Why won't this? It won't. I'm clicking on it, but it won't come up.
Dude, it's the drop down next to the
There's
team
nothing
name.
there.
No, there's a drop down by the Steelers. On the Steelers, drop down.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. Click
I'm
on
not
that.
familiar. I'm not familiar with this. The Vikings at 24, Chiefs at 31, Giants at 34, Jags at 36, Raiders 37, Jets 42.
All right, yeah, it's gonna be the Steelers.
Yeah,
Or
so-
we can offer something to the Cowboys. We can offer anything to any of these teams.
Yeah,
if
but
they
Sean,
want to accept-
ask for a better pick from the Steel. So what are they offering us?
That's all they have, bro. That's all
we're
they
going to
have.
offer them.
Yeah, that's all they have to
What are
offer.
What are we asking for, guys?
I mean,
If we went
that's
with the Steelers, we can at 21 and 83 for 10.
no. I would go 21, 83, 123, 156. I would get all of them. There's no way I'm just doing it for 21 and 83.
Hold on.
Well, it'll tell
And
you
they
the
have our
percentage.
185 just for the hell of it. Try to get that back.
How about you look at the Bengals? You offer 17, 49, and 81 for 10.
And what, 148? They are not interested in trading for this pick. 0% chance.
We can force it.
Let's not, but that's gay. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
All right. So then we have to go with the teams that are interested then. And that would take us back to Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Kansas City, the Giants. So 21 is the best pick we have available.
What about Minnesota? What about Minnesota? What do they have available besides
24.97? That's
Oh
it.
shit.
Their draft is shit. Wow, good for them. They got four picks in the draft.
We're getting robbed for the 10th.
Guys, it's taking us 4 minutes to select a team to trade with.
21, 83,
123 and 156 and 156. No, just don't even put our 148 yet. Try 156. Take our 148 out. They're going to accept that. We can get 185 too. Throw 185 in there as well.
It's our
we
own
want
pick.
we want our pick back. That was our pick.
Yep. Go.
All right, we'll offer it.
Go. They're going to accept it.
Nope.
Oh, take out 185.
You guys can't ask for their entire draft. That's not
It's,
realistic.
look at it.
Trade
Okay,
accepted.
oh.
We got 21, 83,
Let's
123.
not ask for more and
156.
just we got no self-esteem over here, Kyle.
No, I just want it to be somewhat realistic.
All right, so
I
here
think
we
that
go.
is.
Now we can get Mike Green.
Wait, hold on. Can I see who the Steelers drafted with that 10th pick? Is it Sanders? I just want to see.
As a
Thank you,
Ruka?
baby.
Azaruka.
Interesting.
That guy.
Luther Burden went 12 to the Cowboys.
I cannot believe the Steelers would trade up that far to just draft as a Ruka like that.
And Josh Simmons went 18, and
Calvin
Mario
Banks.
Hampton went right there. So
Kelvin Banks to the Bucks.
Hey,
Back to
look
back,
where Will
18.
Johnson went. Exactly where I said the team that wants him went. The Bengals took him at 17. I swear the Bengals are going to get after Will Johnson, man.
Just before you guys crucify me here, Bruce laughed, okay, and so did Crooked Commish. Just pointing that out.
for what?
Nothing,
No,
never
repeat.
mind.
Nothing.
All right, so what are we looking at here, guys? Let's get to it. Let's do this.
We're in a pretty bad situation here because these are your top players. I got wide receiver, tight end, running back. This is where we're at.
We don't have to go position. We don't have to go a position player here. This is our trade back draft.
Yeah, let's look
Oh,
at
I thought we were doing trade back skill. No.
No, we're doing two separate
A
ones.
separate
Oh.
draft for skill, but we didn't have a chance of GNT or Tyler Warren, so we
Okay.
decided to trade back.
So where do we want to go then?
Look
Let
at
me
your
take all
defensive
these out.
line.
Let's
now.
see what's best
Your
available
defensive
here.
line now.
No, I think we should look at
Mike Green is best
Simmons.
available.
Is Josh
And
Simmons
Cam
still on the-
Ward is still
No,
there.
Brennan, Josh Simmons.
Whoa,
and Kelvin
why
Banks
would
were back to
Cam
back,
Ward still be
17,
there?
18, 19. They're both gone.
Sons of bitches.
As much love as the chat had for Mike Green, I mean, it feels like a Mike
Draft
Green
Cam
pick.
Ward.
Yeah, I'd say draft him. Oh, Marion Hampton went already. Sorry, Illinois
He
Jones.
just went.
I like
Yeah,
Walter Nolan.
That
here.
makes sense. The Broncos for Hampton makes a lot of sense.
I
like-
Walter-
I'm between Green and Nolan.
I like Green and Nolan. I like both of them.
Actually, let's go Green. We've never mocked Mike Green. We've mocked Walter Nolan.
And the
multiple
chat
times.
has been saying this guy is
All
going
right.
to be Micah Parsons.
Mike Green is it.
Khalil Mack, right?
We got a lot of picks here, boys. How about we take Tyleek
Ooh.
Williams here?
How about Josh Connerly? What about Josh? We get our left tackle.
Yeah, we
still.
could take him, and then we could still probably get Williams with the next pick. Who's our running
Mhm.
backs? Let's see.
You could probably get Xavier Watts with the next pick too.
Caleb Johnson's still there. Henderson and Judkins are all still there.
Who did we draft, guys?
Mike Green.
Who did we
That's
draft?
it.
Mike Green.
Mike Green.
Who?
Kyle, can you hear me? All right, I think we're Travion Henderson. So I think we're gonna go. I think we're going.
I would go Connerly
Connerly.
or Watts here.
Let's go
I would
Connerly.
Connerly or Watts here.
Yeah,
Connolly.
I'm going Connolly.
Okay.
This guy is going to break the record for top 30 visits. This
Watts
guy's-
is still right
guys had to
there.
go everywhere.
All right, Sean.
Watson's
Stick
still there, but we still need a running back.
Travion Henderson.
Let's go Cam Scatterboat.
We
Well,
went
let's
Judkins
take-
last time.
You still have Watson, Tyreek Williams here, and those are two huge needs.
I like both of them a lot, Sean. I like.
You
both
need a running
Watson
back
and
a
Tyreek
lot
Williams.
more than you need a safety, guys.
But we could find a
You
running
can still
back
find a running back later.
in that third round.
Yeah, we know
But
who
man.
Sean's thinking.
Devin Neal.
That's right.
Of course.
All right, Sean, then take a safety. Take Watts.
Well, Watts or Williams.
Watts is the best player available.
Yeah, but was Makuba still available in the third? Because
He
couldn't you take a
was.
running back theoretically and then
Yeah,
take
he
your
was there.
safety?
He's probably still here.
I think we go Tyreek Williams, guys, because this would get us. We got Connerly, we got Mike Green, we get Tyreek Williams, and then we could potentially turn around and still get another offensive lineman and get 4 guys in the trenches in this draft.
Yeah, I'm between Watson and Williams. I'm fine either way.
I like
That's
Tyreek
fine.
Williams a lot.
I'm fine either way.
All right, we'll go Williams.
So now you're drafting 2 defensive linemen on the top 4.
Well, we're fixing our strengths or our weaknesses, excuse me.
100%.
You need a running back.
Oh, well, they're all gone.
It's gross.
And
I
there
love
goes
RJ
Restrepo.
Harvey, guys. I love RJ
Restrepo.
Harvey.
And
I like-
Restrepo got picked at 70.
I like Harvey too. I like Harvey. I like Giddens. And
I mean, we could probably wait till 83 and still get Devin Neal, and you got one of the best draft backs in this draft.
or Giddens could still be there, and Giddens is no slouch.
Well,
I hope the
that's-
Bears draft a better running back. I hope the Bears get one of those top 5, man.
Okay, well, what's that offensive line? What do we got?
Al, is that disrespect for Devin Neal? I hear.
Sean, you're talking about a guy who's being brought here to replace DeAndre
No.
Swift and for the future of this franchise.
I'm
I'd like it to
talking-
be
I'm
one of the
talking
top
about-
5.
I'm talking about running backs are good in every.
Andrew
round.
Makuba.
I love Makuba. We just drafted him though, so
I like Winston too. I like Winston Jr. too.
Yeah, but look at these ranks on these. But we can get these guys at 80. All these guys at 85.
What's
Look at
Every
wide
one of
receiver.
them.
Jalen Noel is still there. What about inside offensive lineman?
Sean, just show us best available real quick. Brennan's worried about the rank. So Kyle Williams.
Yeah, I'm
Kyle
worried
Williams,
about,
RJ
I'm worried about
Harvey.
what's called reaching.
Alfred Collins,
Alfred Collins is solid too. Mason Taylor.
Mason Taylor, I think tight end is an
Josiah
important
Stewart.
spot to address.
Josiah Stewart's a monster too.
Jack Sawyer's gone, right?
It looks like it. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he'd probably be.
He's gone. He's gone.
Let's take a look. Didn't we grab 2 edges already?
Yeah.
Yeah, Restrepo just went at
I just
7.
want to see for draft purposes.
We got an edge.
Where they
We got
think
an
he's
edge
going.
and a
Edge and an
defense-
inside.
and
Yeah.
a defensive tackle with the
Should
3.
we
Yeah,
take
I just-
Mason
I just
Taylor?
want to know where they think he's going. I'm not saying draft.
I would love Mason Taylor right here. I really would.
Yeah,
I-
Look at
He's-
Shamar Stewart
not a
went
reach.
68 in this draft. That's
Yep.
crazy.
no, that's Shamar. That's Shamar
Yeah,
Turner.
I was going to say that.
Oh,
there's
Shamar
no
Turner.
way.
Shamar Turner.
There's no
Sorry.
way he went
Yeah.
68.
Don't try and mainstream media your narrative, Sean.
Junkins went 61, man.
Sean,
That's-
take Mason Taylor. Let's give Caleb Williams another weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, now we need to get our running back.
Yeah.
Giddens and Neal are
Giddens is still
both there.
Giddens,
I like
Neal,
Giddens.
I like Jaden Blue too.
Yeah,
I like Jaden Blue.
yeah. he's
There's
solid.
no way I'm taking Giddens over freaking Neal. No chance in God's
Yeah,
green
that's
earth.
actually like-
because
I
it's
actually
because
like
it's
Trevor-
Kansas State versus KU. That's why you're not
Actually
taking him. That is
actually like-
exactly why.
You can have your pick, man. If you want to get Devin,
Yeah,
Neal,
we're taking Devin Neal.
I like Trevor Etienne too.
Oh boy.
Some upset
123. Will Howard.
Will Howard.
And Etienne's still there.
Did we? We didn't take our safety, did we?
I don't think we did.
No,
Sanker. I like Sanker a lot.
Now we passed
Our
on
picks are
McCuber
Green,
to
Connerly,
draft
Williams, Taylor, and Neal.
I'd look inside offensive line here,
Yeah,
and I
or
would
safety.
look at safety.
Safety, Castro.
Castro's good. Castro's going to be a good player.
He is very unathletic, though. That's my.
I agree, and that's what I said on our safety show.
Yeah.
Of all the
I don't-
safeties, he's my least favorite, but
Yeah,
he is the best available.
Sanker is a lot better than him in my mind.
I think
Wow.
you're missing out on it. You said interior offensive line.
I like Lampkin. I like Kandra, and we still got McLaughlin there. So I'm just Lampkin is a guy that could be your backup guard.
I'm really surprised Jake Majors is so far down in this draft, man. Wow.
I would go
Third-
Sanker here. I would go Sanker.
Fairchild's still up there.
Yeah.
What up, Notorious? Thanks for joining us, man.
Hold on, which one did you say we should
Like
go?
your feedback. I would go Sanker, safety out of Virginia.
Sanker?
See, Notorious, God bless you, man. I've been saying we should mock the top 10 picks 10 times.
Oh,
You said you
God,
should
Brandon,
do
shut
the
up.
top. You know what? I listen to the people, Dustin. I listen to the people.
I just said thanks for your feedback. We'll do that next time.
Sean,
Yeah.
safety.
I suggested
I'm just looking at the linebackers that are there.
Jack
Yeah, but you
Kaiser.
need a safety. Eventually,
I like
the Bears
Jack
have to draft
Kaiser.
a safety, guys.
And I like Barrett Carter out of Clemson.
You guys want
Don
Sanker?
likes Cody
We'll take
Simon.
Sanker.
I think Sanker is the guy to go with here.
I love Cody Simon, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of love for him on this page.
No, we can get him on the. No, I love him. We can get him on our next pick, maybe. Let's look at
Maybe.
linebacker here.
I'll tell you this, man. We really screwed up because
Simon-
Smith is still
Simon
there.
says don't
Wow.
draft him.
We really
Ooh.
screwed up. How? Well, how do we screw up?
By drafting
So I
Devin
get that.
Neal.
Listen, we could
Listen.
take them both. Brashard
You
Smith would be.
Watch your mouth, Kyle.
We gave it to you because it was like your make a wish, but you could still get Brashard
Well, you
and
guys,
make, make him your gadget guy.
Guys,
You don't
let's
think
throw
he'll
up
be your
two nothing,
spot
boys.
receiver.
Let's focus on the chat, guys.
Cody Simon, there you go.
I'd
Cody
go
Simon.
Kaiser from the Irish as our linebacker. That's what James.
Yeah, but
showed us.
Kaiser already got drafted. We already picked over
Yeah,
him.
so let's just keep an eye on this.
It was after we already picked. It was too late. Bear down, Notorious. Thanks for joining us. Guys, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Get the notification bell on. Share it with a friend.
Cubs are playing small
Thanks for
ball out
joining
here.
us.
Sean, can I see the wide receivers?
Can we draft Quinn Ewers so we can cut him?
Can we draft Dylan Gabriel so we can have like a little people so we can represent?
There's your
little
boy,
people?
Kyle.
Yep, there he is, man. There he is.
Did we take a receiver?
No. 1,382 yards, 16 touchdowns.
Oh, I thought
Sean,
1,382.
What are
was
his slot
draft
yards?
rank.
What are his
Sean.
slot yards?
Can I see his
What are-
first look too?
What are his slot-
514 slot
No, those
yards.
are snaps.
Okay, 514. I like that. And then his first look, Sean?
6'3", 195.
Oh, slot snaps.
Yeah, slot snaps.
Oh, it has the yards
Because
on the
in
stats.
2024, in the slot is a big slot type receiver at 6'3", 195. Despite his plus size and length, he has dancers as feet, quick and controlled.
Yeah, look at
I
this.
like it.
Look at this on the left here. Nash was highly productive in 2024, and he was more than. Hold on,
Sorry.
He's a dancer.
and he was more than. Oh, yeah, Sean. It's more than just a high volume receiver. His impressive footwork, route running, and release make him an intriguing mid round option as a big slot receiver. I mean, they project him to be a slot receiver. He had 16.
You know what? We're
touchdowns.
going to give this one to
This is-
Kyle.
Real
This is
quick, what's
Keenan
our
Allen.
next pick? Okay,
Keenan
yeah, we
Allen.
got to do it now. We got to do it now.
Yeah.
We
Gotta do it now.
haven't
Yeah.
drafted a receiver, right?
Nope.
All right, let's
Nash,
do it.
for sure.
Let's do
This
it.
guy's going to be a beast. What's up, Trax?
What's up, Tricks?
Yeah, thanks
Oh, boy.
for joining us, bud.
We're way down the list.
Raheem Sanders is there again. We know
These are your
that's a
top
damn-
players left. I don't know
Listen,
why Raheem Sanders is.
Let's go with Raheem Sanders. Let's go with Raheem. We just took Devin Neal.
I'm good with that, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Raheem
is
Sanders will be better
just
than
put
Devin Neal.
Devin Neal
Anyway.
like that's a bad thing?
Sean, can I see the linebackers in this last pick?
We got Simon, right?
Yeah, I know. I just want to see him.
Oh, now you see them. You interested in any of that?
No, no.
No, not at all. What's our best available?
Yeah, best available for sure.
Oops.
All right, next time I'm being the mouse.
Sean,
guy.
you're fired. You're fucking fired, dude.
There's Ollie Gordon. Oh my god.
Can't
We
draft
could've
3
got-
running backs.
We could have got. Well, let's draft 3 running backs.
How did we miss Ollie freaking Gordon, guys? Oh, this guy's gonna make people really happy in the NFL.
Look at our picks real quick.
Criminal.
Golly.
What are our picks, Sean? What are our picks?
Green, Connerly, Tyreek Williams, Mason Stewart or Taylor, Devin Neal, Sanker, Simon, and Nash and Sanders.
Wow, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I
That's
like that
pretty
draft
damn
a
good.
lot.
I do too. What about Jason Marshall there out of Florida, the cornerback?
What's up, Trax?
I could use a cornerback on this
Yeah,
team.
Let's
yeah,
take
hell
some-
yeah.
We
Yeah,
need
let's
some
take
depth at the
Marshall.
cornerback position.
Marshall's
All right,
awesome.
we're done.
All right, here we go, guys.
And
We
we
are
earned rewards.
2 new rewards.
Can you
Yeah.
exit?
It's taking them a while to grade our draft.
Yeah,
You
they're
got
like,
a B on the last one.
A plus on
Look at
Mike
that.
Green,
Oh,
B plus,
BD.
A, C plus on Mason Taylor, B minus on Devin Neal. Sanker got us an A. Simon the D, Nick Nash a D. Way to go, guys. Raheem Sanders A minus. Nice.
This is the
Jason
opposite
Marshall,
of the
B minus.
draft we just had.
A minus.
Overall draft grade A minus. The trade back obviously produced some pretty good results for us with those extra picks in the middle rounds, man.
So
yeah,
the
and I'm
trade
sticking
back
with
was
I'm sticking
better
with Nick
than the-
Nash, man. I don't give a shit about their D. Nick Nash is going to be awesome.
Listen, I love this draft. We got our slot receiver potentially. We got 2 good running backs. We got a tight end that could eventually take Cole Kmet's job, or at the very least run the 2 tight end with Cole Kmet. Connerly is sneakily potentially the best left tackle in this draft.
Could be.
He has that type of potential. Mike Green is your pass rush specialist. Tyleek Williams as your 3 technique to take over and rotate with Grady Jarrett, man. I mean, Sanker, the safety. This we addressed.
Yeah, you got Caleb Williams, more protection. You got him 4 new weapons, 2 running backs.
That's the one thing that we didn't do enough of. If I had to nitpick this, Kyle, we didn't get enough offensive line help. We only got the one. We got the one left tackle. We didn't go inside offensive line.
Yeah, if the Bears lose their 2 starting tackles this year,
or a guard, whatever. Yeah, I mean, we didn't do enough
every year.
We didn't do enough for the offensive line. If I had to,
All right, but by all measures, the trade back outweighed the left tackle draft.
Sean, can you scroll up?
100%.
What is that? Sean, can you scroll up? What does that say about Watts? Why
What
does
is
that
that?
say what? Go
that
scroll
we
up.
should have taken.
Oh, it says we should have
taken
drafted
Watts over Williams.
instead of Connerly.
Wow.
Oh, over Connerly. Okay.
It's like their biggest improvement or whatever. All right, let's
And
let's
we
do
got a
this.
We got an A minus. They would have gave us an A plus.
Yeah, we got a B plus still on that Connerly pick, and we got our left tackle of the future.
All right, new
This
Mox.
is position or bust, and then we could try to see if we can trade back. But after we take
we
our
doing?
position,
Skill
we're going to
position
take our
at 10?
position player at 10. Yes, even if that ends up being Quinshon Judkins.
James just throwing tracks out there. Tracks blew the hose on a pressure wash while rinsing out the soap off the side of a combine. Good thing it happened by the end of the workday.
All right, number 10. Here we go.
All the
This
orange
is the
gone.
skill player.
They're all gone. They're
all
all
gone,
gone.
guys.
We're going Matthew Golden here.
We're going
Is
Omari and Hampton.
Is Genty still there? Oh no, he went 2.
He went 2.
Wow.
Jesus.
McMillan went 3.
Sean, who went first? Who went first in this draft?
Hunter went 6.
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham.
We're
Wow.
going Omari and Hampton.
So this shows that the 2 quarterbacks not being taken in the top 10 before the Bears really hurts the Bears draft.
Well, Cam Ward went 7.
Well,
I know,
but now
Sanders,
somebody might trade the Bears to get to that 10th spot and take one of those quarterbacks.
yeah, but we already did our trade back.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if they didn't go in the top 9, that would be great for the Bears in real life.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
The Colts could go get one of them. I mean, there's so many teams that could
that's
use
tough, man. We're putting ourselves in this box where we got to take a position player. I mean, does
we're
Will
gonna
Johnson count?
We're gonna get an F. We should have taken Tower 1.
Well, I mean, you guys, there's mock drafts of them taking Omari and Hampton, so let's just see what happens if they did.
Let's
That's
take
what the
or
whole
taking
show
Travion
started.
Henderson.
The whole show started if the Bears would take Omari and Hampton at 10.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
I would take Luther Burden. I would take Luther Burden over Omari.
Yeah, so would I.
Is Matthew
let's do
Golden?
that.
Is Golden still available? Of course he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. Burden.
Honestly, I think Ibuka is the best receiver in this.
I would take Burden or Egbuka over Omari.
Emeka Ibuka is going to be a top 3 receiver in this class. I have no doubt about that.
And again, here's another great time to say that Ben Johnson was asked, where does the ball go to the most in his offense? And he says it generally goes to the slot guy. The guy in the slot tends to be the beneficiary.
Don't ever give Sean a choice between Mizzou or an Ohio State player because it doesn't. It could be God playing for Mizzou. And Sean's not going to take.
No, I like Luther Burden. I just think Emeka Ibuka is a great.
I like both of them a lot.
I think it's great.
Let's
I would
take
take
Ibuka.
either one over Hampton.
And just so you see here, Kyle, they're ranked 14 and 18, but the average draft position is 2 slots better for Ibuka than it is Luther Burden.
All right, let's take him. Let's see what happens.
You want to take him, or you guys don't want to do what we said with Hampton?
Let's get our slot receiver
Yeah, let's do it.
because we
All
still
right.
have running backs in the second round.
That would be a huge weapon for Caleb Williams. Ibuka. That would
All
be
right,
awesome.
Ibuka's
That would
done.
be great for him.
And then the
I
Bears
dude,
have
I
their
would be
spot receiver.
hand over fist. I would be really happy. I just don't see that happening, but I would be pretty damn happy with that.
Wow, Nick Scourton is still there. I like that a lot.
And Nathan Evaldi's having a rough day, even though it's only 2-0.
Josh Connerly's still there. Can I see the running backs before we get ahead of ourselves?
Scataboo!
Let's go Caleb Johnson. Let's go
Caleb
Johnson. That's what Sean wants.
Caleb Johnson right here.
All right, we'll do Caleb.
Well, you can get him at 41.
Yeah, you can get him at 41.
Well, last time we didn't draft him here.
Last time he went at 40.
Yeah, and then we'll just have to take Travion Henderson.
You know what? Let's take. What do you guys think?
Let's do the left. You want to go left tackle again? Go Connerly again?
God, yes.
Yeah.
The Bears have 3 tackles on their team right now.
All right, we'll take Connerly.
And now we can go.
Maxwell Harrison went.
I really like Maxwell Harrison a lot. I would love.
Yeah, now you get your Caleb Johnson, Sean.
All right, we're Travion Henderson because Brandon hasn't gotten.
Oh, sorry, Brandon. I moved too quick there.
Sure.
Look at Sean. Shamar Stewart is still on the board.
So I mean, look, this draft would be awesome for Caleb Williams. You now have gotten Caleb Williams, a wide receiver, a running back, and a left tackle.
Yep. Yeah,
this would be amazing for him. He would be ecstatic. So now we got to look at the defensive end, Sean.
No, fuck it. Let's go tight end. Get him more weapons now.
Yeah, let's just
take away all those excuses.
Yes.
Mason Taylor's right.
Let's see Caleb Williams throw for 4,700 yards and 40 touchdowns. Yes. Absolutely.
Harold
I'm all for it.
If only Erica was watching, we would.
I like Harold Fannin a lot.
We would take Fannin.
Dude, Harold Fannin is the highest ranked tight end by numbers.
Let's
not even close.
Let's go with Fannin.
How many dentists? How many dentists work? How many dentists work till 8 o'clock?
We're not going to get Fannin with our next pick.
We will not.
So, no,
you want to take Fannin, boys?
I'm with it. 95
Mason
PFF grade.
Do you think he's going to be better than Mason Taylor's going to be better than Fannin?
I just get bored taking the same players in the same draft. You know, we already double dipped on Connerly in 2 drafts in a row.
Yeah, we didn't take Travion Henderson in any of the drafts.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Brandon. I tried to help you out there, buddy. I did.
I'm sorry.
Sean's paying more attention to the Cubs game than our draft, so that's his fault.
I'm trying to get the Cubs game on and the national championship game.
They've got 12 TVs in there. That shouldn't be too hard.
They're firing up. All right, 148. Where are we looking at? Safety, corner,
defensive end. Probably we've neglected that atrociously.
Let's look at.
I hate this draft.
Savion Jones, solid guy for this pick.
Can I see? Yeah, can I see that?
Go to first look. Go to first look first.
6'6", 280.
There you go.
Scouting summary coming soon.
Well, it says he pairs the size with his motor that never quits, having solid tools at his side.
He's my pick here if we're going edge.
Yeah. I don't know much about him, but I'm all for it. Let's do it.
He's right there.
He's a perfect size for this defense. He's got good strength, good speed. He's a hell of a player to get at that pick, I think.
He could save this defense.
Right now we need a safety. It's not going to be a great one.
It'll probably be Castro. No, he's gone.
Oh, Malachi Moore's still there.
Yeah, go more. Hell yeah, go more.
I like Malachi Moore.
Center fielder. He's a center fielder for your defense. This guy is a ball hawk. 7 interceptions this past season.
Malachi
Moore. 240.
Malaki.
This is your best available.
Go see Principal O'Shaq Hennessy right now. O'Shaughnessy?
Can I see? Is this linebacker? Can I see the linebackers?
This is just the best available.
We went running back, right? We went Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
Let's not neglect the offensive line depth in this draft like we did on the last one.
Well, it's pick 240, right?
Yeah, it's the last pick. Is Hinton still there out of Michigan?
Hinton.
What position?
Hinton had something.
Tackle. Offensive tackle.
It was their top 30 visit, right?
We drafted a tackle.
I know we drafted Connerly, but we were looking at some interior.
No, this is tackles.
Yeah, no, it's not there.
Yeah, Sean, do interior. Let's see if what's his name is the guy that just had a top 30 visit with Fairchild.
Dylan.
Dylan.
Joshua Gray.
No, they're all gone.
I mean, I
Could
might
you
go Joshua Gray here.
Garrett
Right.
Dellinger the third.
The third.
He's all right. I mean, you're not going to get anybody too
Yeah,
I
spectacular.
mean, you're looking
This is
at
a
a
practice
diamond
squad
in the
player.
rough
Yeah,
here.
just take him. Who cares?
All right.
Take
End
the
this
take the Beaver.
All right. This is going to be
And-
our worst graded one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Most definitely. I mean, we took Ibuka at 10, guys.
There's a major reach. They're going to be like, you should have taken this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
They said we should have taken Scrouton over Caleb.
Scourton, Scrouton,
Scrotum.
Scrotum.
Jesus.
D+ for Ibuka. C+ on the draft altogether.
Yeah, it's our worst one by far. But listen,
Yeah.
I
I'd be
I
okay
don't
with
mind
Caleb
it,
Williams.
though.
I don't mind
I'd
it
be
either.
okay. I'd be okay with this. I'd be
Yeah.
Savion
Well,
Jones.
if you
Moore.
got Malachi Moore, Caleb Johnson, Connerly, and Ibuka, you did a pretty damn good job in this draft, dude, for sure.
I agree.
If we had only taken Travion Henderson over Caleb Johnson.
That would have been the perfect grade. We've been a B+ at least.
Harold Fannin was definitely a reach too, but we knew that when we did it. I mean, we went offense heavy, and I mean, Caleb got weapons and he got some extra protection with Josh Connerly. I mean, there's something to be. There's something.
This whole
Ben
thing
Johnson
is
would have
okay.
fun with this. Yeah, it
So
would.
the trade back scenario won the Hall.
It's clearly the best option. I knew it would be. It's just, again, it comes down to, can you even find a trade partner to do that with, man? That's what it comes down to. But I think Savion Jones, where we got him, would be a steal. And I think Moore, where we got him, would be a steal too.
Jahdae Barron went 5th.
Jahdae Barron's been going in the top 10 in every simulation we're doing, Brandon. Jahdae Barron
That dropped Travis Hunter to 6th.
that's kind of
Ugh.
crazy.
Would not want to see
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton on the
That's
Vikings.
nuts.
That
Guys,
was-
me and Kyle, me and Kyle were talking about how much we love Jahdae Barron after watching his film last week. Jahdae Barron is just an unstoppable force at that cornerback position, man. He will get interceptions. He will shut a guy down for an entire game.
Okay,
and he can make plays in the run. Coming
realistically,
up the tackle.
with what was available at 10, if we're not doing a skill player, I'm going Campbell or
Campbell,
Will,
Jahad Campbell. Yes.
Will Johnson or Jahad Campbell. For sure.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Will Johnson may be good. I just don't see his fit on the Chicago Bears as a top 10 draft pick at this moment where the Bears
Certainly
are.
don't like to see Hampton go to the Vikings.
Well, that's the same reason Jahdae Barron I don't know that he would be a first round pick for the Bears either. But
And the
Jahdae
Lions-
Barron is
Lions
continually
took-
rising.
The Lions took Derek Harmon. Oof, that would suck.
Where
Yeah,
did
that's kind of scary.
him and Maury go?
I don't think
He didn't even go in the first
he's getting
round.
pushed out of the
He had
first
to,
round
He had to.
in a lot of mock.
Wow.
No, he's getting pushed out of the first round. In a lot of real mock drafts. Mock
Well,
drafts by
people
like,
are going to regret that. Shamar Stewart went 21 to the Steelers. Interesting.
Shamar Turner.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was some fun. Those were fun drafts.
Man, Gray Zabel too.
So
The
what
Packers.
we learned from that, guys, is that taking a skill player that high is going to hurt you in terms of addressing actual needs on your team that we all know are real, like on our trenches. That's going to hurt you. It's going to make it tougher. And that if you can find a trade back partner, you should probably do that as quick as you can, because that's going to get you the depth for your team that you need, and you'll be able to find it in this draft. And when you can find starting players from the third and fourth round in this draft, and that really bulked up our draft, making that trade back, man. We addressed damn near every need on this team, guys, in that draft.
Yeah. And,
So
and
hopefully we can do that.
if the Bears can pull some of this off, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm still hoping for the trade back coming April 24th, and I'm hoping to get a little stock, get into that fourth round, and add some depth at all positions if they possibly can. And we'll see how it plays out. Like we said earlier, we don't know what the Bears are thinking and where they're going. Ben Johnson's first draft, we don't know what he's thinking or what he wants. We can kind of draw some conclusions off of what he did in Detroit, but and his picks in Detroit were unorthodox. And when Detroit made those picks, there was a lot of people saying, "Man, these picks don't look right. These weren't the right guys in these positions." And it's worked out okay. So
What's up, Sean? I agree, Sean. If
Yeah,
we're
Sean,
picking
I'd rather
10th
have-
in that draft, I'm going Campbell.
Campbell
Well,
all the way.
I'd rather have
Patrick
Campbell
Willis
over
2.0.
any of the defensive ends in this draft, Sean. 100%.
I would be ecstatic if the Bears took Campbell at 10. I don't care who's there. I would be ecstatic. If the Bears
I would be pretty happy. Will Campbell or
no Jihad Campbell.
Jihad. I would be really happy with that too. We talked about it last week. Dude. We want a linebacker.
Any Bears fan wants that middle linebacker.
Yeah, bring
back.
that
They want it
linebacking back to Chicago. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait, man. We're 17 days away, dude. That's just like over 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, man. I think the biggest moral of this story is that nobody has any fucking clue what Poles and the Bears are going to do in this draft with that number.
I think they love it.
That's exactly what Poles wants. And Sean mentioned it earlier. Poles can maneuver this board. That's going to be impressive to watch. If he keeps his poker face on throughout this whole process, you might see some major moves happen on draft day with him moving.
There two NFL execs said that these are lock picks. So they had Cam Ward to Tennessee. They had Carter and Hunter being 2 and 3, no matter which way you.
Carter's going to the Browns.
They had Hunter going to the Giants.
About a quarterback, I think the Browns and Giants are both thinking about quarterbacks.
They had the Patriots taking Will Campbell.
I don't think the Browns like Sanders, Kyle.
They had the Patriots.
I think Sanders would be good for the Browns.
I do too. I like Sanders. I don't think they like him.
They had the Patriots.
They're
Will
stupid.
Campbell.
They didn't like a quarterback they traded away and is now one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So.
Yeah, no doubt. And you got the Patriots taking Will Campbell, Brandon?
Yep, and then you had the Jaguars taking Mason Graham.
Yeah.
The Raiders taking Ashton Genty. These picks they called locks.
I feel like those are too. I feel like that's going to be pretty predictable. That's why it's going to be so hard to predict what the Bears do, because the guys that you think they might be interested in will be gone.
They had the Jets taking Tetero and McMillan, which kind of surprised me a little bit. And they said Tetero, and then
somebody throw the ball to me. You can't just give him Garrett Wilson and be like, all right, good luck.
Garrett Wilson and Tetero would be a pretty
do not rule out the Jets taking Shedeur Sanders if he's there. Do not rule that out at all.
Yeah, for the Jets fan base, I hope they don't.
The Jets are also being projected Membu a lot. I could see that happening.
Membu makes a lot of sense for them too, yeah. But and there's also talk today of Breece Hall being potentially on the trade block and them going after Genty if he's available at 7. The Jets have a lot of different. So many teams can go so many different ways in this draft.
I wonder what they would want for Breece Hall.
Is so unpredictable. I mean,
Breece Hall would be awesome on the Bears.
It was reported that Aaron Glenn, exactly, and that's what people are talking about. If the Bears could make a trade for Breece Hall, he's being underutilized on the Jets, and Aaron Glenn wants to go to a committee approach with his running back.
I hate to crush our little dreams here, man, but I continue to see Tyler Warren not making it to the Bears now in all these mock drafts.
I see a lot of them where he's going 14 to the Colts, man. I see a lot of those.
In recent drafts?
Yeah. Some of
I've seen him treated as blue chip. Top, like every mock draft has him. A lot of Saints and a lot of Jets, man. I see a lot of Saints.
Some of the more recent ones I've seen
the Jets have no tight ends.
I know there's definitely 10 blue chip players in this draft, guys.
I think there's 9, man.
All right. Well, Cam Ward's going to get drafted before the Bears, so you still have a blue chip. So you don't consider Campbell a blue chip player? Who?
No, I do. I guess I consider the B. I consider the B like
Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, Will Johnson, Campbell. You got Gianti. You got Tyler Warren. You got who's the ones I'm missing? The ones that have been projected to go. Travis Hunter. There's Travis Hunter's in there.
I think Tyler Booker is a top 10 player in this draft, personally.
I mean, you have two, and probably at least one team's taking a quarterback before you, right?
Well, and Jalen Walker is a blue chip talent.
Jalen Walker is that guy. Yeah,
he's just not for the Bears, I don't think. But
I mean, for me, guys, personally, my perfect scenario would be Mason Graham falling back to 10. It's not going to happen. I hope they trade back, and I hope they go back to like 12 and let the Cowboys get some offensive weapon for them, because obviously they're.
But do you guys think? Do you think if Tyler Warren's
go get John Campbell?
Do you think if Tyler Warren's there, they're for sure going to draft him at 10?
I think so. I think so.
I agree, Sean. I agree with you 100%.
I think so.
Sean coming out left. I did not know Sean was such a big Campbell fan.
You got to go make sure you watch our show last week, because we were all very high on him. I compared
linebacker
Patrick Willis.
I want to restore the linebackers in Chicago. It's something that our tradition's been built on since the beginning of time, and we don't have that here right now. So
have not had it for some time.
What's up, Dante?
It's almost a must, man.
Yeah.
It's almost a must. And you know what? Me being spoiled growing up, seeing great linebackers my entire life, like most Bears fans, it's been pretty awful the last couple of years not having any. So
Well, I mean, Edwards is a really good player.
Edwards is a
but he's
good
not
player,
that guy. He's not
but
that
he's
guy.
getting long in the tooth, and
Even at his prime,
he's a great
not
tackle
that
machine.
guy. He's not that
Yeah,
guy.
I just want to make this show like, let's bash TJ Edwards. That guy got signed for $18 million and should have
I
got
like
signed for
TJ
a lot more
Let's
than that.
bash him.
Nobody's
I like
bashing
TJ
Edwards.
Sean says his
and
favorite
really
player
quick,
in the draft
going
without
in-
question is Cam.
Going into
I'd
2026,
say Mason Graham is probably my favorite player in this draft.
Mason Graham.
Yeah, he's my favorite player in this draft.
Okay. I don't know who my favorite player is in this
I think
draft.
it's Campbell for me. I think it's Jahad Campbell for me too. I think so. I mean, watching this guy play football, watching his film, watching everything that he can do from that inside linebacker position, it makes you really crave to see that in the NFL for your football team.
If I had to pick one, then I would take Josh Simmons.
Oh, that one's
I
gonna
think-
age.
I
That's
think
not gonna
mine is-
age too well.
Mine is probably Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. I'm very interested to see what he will do in the NFL. Yeah.
All right, Sean, you want to get us out of here? I think Vernon and Dustin have to be.
There's no show there today.
No, there's not.
No.
What's it?
You guys aren't
Tracks?
doing CFP today?
Well, there's a
We're
recording that's
going to
happening.
record a show, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says
obviously.
WGN Larry Holly's tennis chair hopes to go off until 9 p.m. for him, Vernon.
So
I'm sure
yeah.
Brandon can do that.
Hey, one more time. Don't forget, join us the 24th, River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street. Raising money for the less fortunate. Gonna have a good time. We're gonna celebrate the Chicago Bears' newest edition. Raise some money, give away some awesome gifts to whoever wins. We got Cubs tickets, we got autographed pictures, we got autographed helmets, we got all types of stuff going on. Drink specials, $3 tall boys. So come on out, come see us. We want to hang out with you, put some comments to some faces. That will be fantastic if you're in the area, or even if you have to travel a little bit. We'd love to see you. If you mention our show, I will buy your first drink as well. So there's that.
Oh,
For you.
all right.
I don't.
I'm
I
getting a
don't.
free drink.
4-star Chicago sports, Sean.
And
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit, fuck Green Bay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Dude said wrap out. He says wrap out. I've never noticed that before until today. He says
it's
wrap out. Let's wrap this
14
thing out.
Houston, 2-0 Cubs, and Justin Steele's only got 56 pitches, man.
Oh,
He's
Sean, it
having
might
a
be three.
good out.
Sean, it might be 3-0 Cubs.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, did it not make it? You're ahead of me. How are you ahead of me?
Tucker missed a home run by about 3 inches, guys.
Oh, I'm ahead of you. I'm already on Suzuki's at bat. It's 2-0 Cubs.
Well, that's a guaranteed out.
Hey, go Cubs.
All right, guys.
Watch the
All
Northside
right,
Nine this Saturday. Me and Brandon will be here on Thursday for the bare minimum. You got these guys on Wednesday for the Barely There podcast. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Have a wonderful evening, y'all.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. We appreciate y'all spending some time with us. God bless y'all. Stay safe out there.
And thanks for the logo, Sean.
Bear down.